Game Nashville Studios. It's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 1025. The Game streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Caroline Fenton is here. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, how we doing?
Absolutely fantastic today. Ian Safar is here. Hello, Ian.
What up, what up?
By the way, today is National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. And today is our first National Girls and Women's in Sports Day with Caroline. Here's part of our show. Congratulations. This is your first National Girls and Women's in Sports Day on this station.
Thank you. I'm very excited about it. Thank you for thinking of me.
Okay, so I want to start with this. So I teased this on Twitter earlier today. I used the term Nashville NFL news, right?
Yes.
So I feel like that is a way, when you say something Nashville, you're saying, like, it's not Titans, but it is Nashville, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It could be Titans.
We've teased this for a couple of days, and we've gotten more information over the last couple of days, and now I feel comfortable telling all the people this. And that is that Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, has purchased land in Franklin. Now, if you don't know what Franklin is south of Nashville. It is a suburb. Wealthy people live there. He has purchased land in Franklin and is building a home. That is according to multiple sources. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is building a home in Franklin. The second thing, a source tells me Rodgers would be, quote, open to joining the Titans. That's all I was told. Open to joining the Titans. And I talked to another source in which at least some of Rodgers' current Green Bay Packer teammates think there is no way Rodgers is going back to Green Bay. So make of that what you will. So I started the show with my reporter hat on. Rodgers has purchased land. And look, Aaron Rodgers has a lot of money. So it's not like he doesn't have. I talked to one source who told me he's got a $28 million Malibu beach house. So again, people have money. But Aaron Rodgers is building a home in Franklin. Another source says Aaron Rodgers is open to joining the Titans. Another source says that his Packer teammates, some of them, I don't want to speak for all 53, some of his Packer teammates believe there is no way he goes back to Green Bay. So let's start with that. What do we make of it?
It's tough to dissect it because it could be, well, Franklin's just a great area. Nashville's a great city. And he just wants to build a home here and have a home here. And especially because Aaron Rodgers is such a financially inclined person, he may say, hey, I want to build a nice home in Franklin. The value's only going to go up, so on and so forth. Or it has legs. Or it's Aaron Rodgers is open to joining the Titans and is going to show the Titans, this is how serious I am about it, that I am willing to put down a foundation in this city and start growing my life in Nashville. I lean toward the former.
So here's what I think. I think when we're told that he's open, and so now I'm taking the reporter hat off, which I had on for about 8 seconds. Taking that off, and I am putting now, the Jared Stillman talk show host hat back on, the opinion hat back on. I think, and this is just me, this is not sourced. Rodgers has lived his entire life in California and Wisconsin, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what have we learned about Rodgers in the last year? At least as far as, I don't want to say political leanings, but what have we learned about Rodgers in the last 6 months that we probably didn't know? And that is that Rodgers hates COVID, and he hates, COVID restrictions, and we kind of learned how Aaron feels on the pendulum.
And I think everyone hates COVID.
But a different kind of
different way.
People that doesn't believe in wearing masks and all those kind of things. Which
alternative vaccine.
Right. Voodoo doctors. You can believe whatever you want to believe, and Rodgers clearly believes what he wants to believe, and he and Joe Rogan can talk about it, and they do whatever. But I do think that there is a point where a lot of these people are moving out of California because they don't like being taxed. Mm-hmm. They don't like being restricted. They don't like all these things about California. They don't like wildfires. Like, they don't like that stuff. So they're moving to other places. Just like people are moving out of Illinois, people are moving out of New York, people are moving out of all these places. And a lot of them are coming here. A lot of them are like, hey, Tennessee, you got a Republican governor. He's not going to make Aaron Rodgers wear a mask. You've got no state income tax. People like that, especially rich people. Franklin is a very affluent area. If you want to live there, you can live there. So I do think Aaron building a home in Franklin is completely like independent of him being the quarterback. The Titans. And again, what does open mean? I don't know, but it feels like Green Bay and Aaron, it looks like they're heading for a divorce. And so who are the other suitors? Well, we know Denver has pushed all their chips in the middle. Denver is going all in. They hired his coach. They've got cap space. They've got wide receivers. I mean, the only thing they haven't done is flown a plane with a little banner over it, over his, I guess, new Franklin plot that said, please come to Denver, Aaron. But they've done that. Other than that, I don't know who the other suitors would be. People will say, well, what about Tampa Bay? Because now they need a quarterback. Or what about Pittsburgh? And we can talk about all those. But I just think that Aaron's probably kind of like Peyton Manning. Now, again, Aaron is not a free agent. Peyton was released by Indianapolis. But Aaron is probably thinking that he can do the LeBron James, Peyton Manning tour. Or in his mind, like, hey, line up the suitors for me. And the source says he's open to the Titans. So if the Titans were a suitor, which unfortunately it looks like they may not be, their general manager's comments yesterday making that seem kind of clear. But if he's a suitor or if they're a suitor, he'd be open to it. That's good to at least be in the ball game. The third thing is the Packer teammates who don't think he's coming back at all. See, I thought he's staying in Green Bay, deep down inside, because I don't see what Green Bay's incentive to let Aaron Rodgers leave would be. And that's how I felt last offseason, and that's how I feel this offseason. But I was reading Andrew Brandt, Sports Illustrated, who basically said, look, you don't draft a quarterback in the first round to sit on the bench for forever. And so they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. They can really, add some draft picks and players and things of that magnitude in a trade for Aaron Rodgers. So why not? I'm still a little surprised Green Bay would move off of Rodgers and end this era because I think they'll be terrible if they do that. But
if he wants to leave, how much of a choice do they really have?
Well, he wanted to leave last year, and they had a choice, and they didn't let him leave.
Well, we say the same thing about Russell Wilson, that he doesn't want to be in Seattle.
And I think there's a chance.
And that made him a legitimate contender to become the Titans quarterback.
I think there's a legitimate chance that Russell's not in Seattle. I think that, if Russell, let's use Tannehill as the example. Tannehill never says anything bad. Tannehill never whatever. So the Titans would have no need to trade Tannehill other than the fact that he kind of stinks. Mm-hmm. They would have no reason to trade Tannehill. But if Tannehill or another quarterback says, look, I don't want to be here, then after a while you kind of get beheld to this guy's unhappy and he's our quarterback and it's going to make everybody else around us bad. So we might as well trade him, get what we can get, and hope we pull off a Herschel Walker trade that we remember for forever. I mean, look, how's New England been since Brady left? Not great. How's Denver been since Manning left? Not great. How's Indy been since Luck left? Not great. But that's kind of how this works in the league. That you have the quarterback, and then when you don't have the quarterback, you have to find the next quarterback. And maybe Green Bay is going to put themselves in that position, or maybe they really believe in Jordan Love. I don't know. But that's the news right there that I have. And again, I have talked to reporters, and I'm like, is this enough to go with it? They said yes. We've talked about it. On the air, off the air. We've been talking about this all week. Mm-hmm. About the idea that Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Nashville or in a Nashville suburb in Franklin. Aaron Rodgers is open to the Titans, according to a source. Aaron Rodgers, teammates in Green Bay, some of them, not all, do not believe that Aaron Rodgers will be back with the Packers. Make of that what you will. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. I have to wonder, like, do you think the Titans know this, if I know this?
Probably so.
Like, I have, like, multiple people in my orbit all heard the same thing, all from different people, all, like, different sourcing, all, like, not Nashville sourcing, some Nashville sourcing, some, like, this is, I think, like, somebody was going to eventually report that Aaron Rodgers was building a house in Franklin. I guess it's me. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Your reaction to that news. Plus, do the John Robinson comments yesterday take the Titans out of an Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes? I have not gone through the math and done the cap and the pre-June 1st and a trade and what it would mean and who goes here and who goes there, and I haven't done any of that. So I have no idea how they'd make it work. Honestly, don't totally care. But do the Robinson comments keep the Titans from being able, or not from being able, but like realistically mean that the Titans have no interest, even if Rodgers is open to joining the Titans? We'll get our thoughts on that next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game, and as always, we're streaming live on the Game Nashville app.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jarrett Stillman and Company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 1025 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 sofas, sectionals, and mattresses are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery. All furniture at Social is top quality solid woods and designer fabrics. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Buy local, support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Donner for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you could even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Inner Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
I still would maintain that it's the best chance for him to accomplish what he wants to accomplish, which is win another Super Bowl. I do think it's really tied to Davante Adams' situation. He's already been on record as saying that he's the best player that he's played with, and obviously they have a close friendship. And so I think Davante's situation, will have an impact in terms of what he decides to do. And that means long-term deal and franchise tag. Look, if Davante is franchised, it means it's a one-year deal, where he needs to have a good season. I could see Aaron playing in that situation. So, look, I think the other thing that we need to remember, too, is Aaron Rodgers still under contract with the Green Bay Packers. And so while he has a ton of power and leverage in this situation because of the type of player that he is, it's not just solely up to him. And that's never been the case. That's why I've always maintained that he would end up back in Green Bay. Somebody please tell me what the trade value is for a guy that has dominated the league the way he has over the last 4 years. If Matthew Stafford was traded for what he was traded for, who knows and who knows if anyone has enough firepower to put a trade together to actually get Aaron Rodgers. People need to always remember that. He's under contract. Yes, high cap number, but it's not just Aaron's decision.
There you go. That was Tim Hasselbeck on ESPN. And it is not just Aaron's decision. Just like a trade with Seattle is not just Russell's decision. Just like all of those things. But again, multiple sources have told me Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Franklin. He has purchased the land. I believe I know how much money he has purchased the home for, which is well out of my price range, but definitely not definitely not well out of Aaron's price range. Aaron Rodgers has purchased the land, and he is building a home in Franklin. Another source says Aaron would be, quote, open to joining the Titans. That does not mean that he 100% wants to come to the Titans. That doesn't even mean that he wants to come to the Titans. It just means that he is open to the idea of it. And a Packers teammate says, another source says, Packers teammates say they don't expect Aaron back in Green Bay. So we start with that. Now, there is an interesting element. I am not like a Hollywood person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the girlfriend, fiance, her. There's apparently she's friends with Reese Witherspoon.
Yes, they were in a show together.
Okay. So there's a thought that perhaps they could be building this house and then her and Reese could be buddy-buddy.
That's actually a thought that ran through my head.
Okay. So again, I don't keep up with all this stuff, like the Hollywood girlfriends and the music people. I don't do that. I know I have a sorry existence. I don't care about that kind of stuff. But I don't know, that, whatever. The other element to this, too, is the Robinson comments yesterday. The Robinson comments yesterday were, defined on the team's website as simple as one sentence. He is our quarterback, period, in reference to Tannehill. So does that mean that even if Aaron were open to the Titans would not be open to Aaron?
I'm not buying that. I think that's pretty bad GMing if you are going to close yourself off to the opportunity to seriously upgrade a quarterback. If you are willing to say on February 1st yesterday that Ryan Tannehill's our quarterback and we're sticking with him no matter what, even though he lost us a playoff game, I think that's letting your own hard-headedness get in the way.
I agree.
That's the case.
I agree, but I agreed with that. Yes, I agreed as soon as the game, even before the game was over, but to me that was the moment of truth where that's it for Tannehill. Goodbye. And that Bengals game, I saw the Joe Burrow's Super Bowl jersey hanging up, the black Bengals jersey with the Super Bowl patch, and I'm like, thanks, Tannehill. That's how I feel to that. And so where I am and where Robinson is, two totally different places. I just can't believe. And we full on, on this show, we fully believe in tampering. We think tampering is a real thing. Look, the Brian Flores lawsuit came out yesterday in which they basically allege that the owner was trying to get Flores to tamper with a prominent quarterback who was a free agent, Brady, and I think the tampering goes on. if Robinson got a call from David Dunn, who's Aaron's longtime agent, if Robinson got a call from David Dunn and it was like, hey, Aaron's open to the Titans, would they consider it? I mean, they made it sound like they didn't consider Brady 2 years ago. That's a concern. So, I mean, and look, I don't even like Aaron Rodgers. The idea of Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback of the Titans kind of bothers me because I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. I think Aaron Rodgers is a bad teammate. I think Aaron Rodgers is incredibly selfish. I think for some reason, Aaron Rodgers, whatever the clutch gene that Brady and Derek Jeter have, Aaron Rodgers has the opposite of that. I think Aaron Rodgers cares about himself more than the team's success. I think Aaron Rodgers, honestly, probably is not very humble. But I still know what I'm getting with Tannehill, and I don't want Tannehill anymore. Like, I don't want to go into the playoffs next year with us having to talk every day about how this national media guy says Tannehill stinks, and then the people in Nashville being like, well, they don't get Tannehill. Because I was one of those people for years that thought, you know what, you don't get Tannehill. You don't understand it. And then I watched this whole season, and I listened to you all make excuses for him on excuses, and then they lost the playoff game, and now I feel like a lot of you have the same feeling that is, yeah, you know what? We didn't get Tannehill. They got Tannehill. We didn't get Tannehill. So there you go. That's what we're starting with today. 615-737-1025. I did promise your phones, unless you have a thought.
To the phones.
Phones we go, which are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Tom has been waiting patiently. Wants to kick us off on the Aaron Rodgers gossip. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. I'm a rideshare driver here in Nashville, and it kind of makes sense about what you're saying with Rodgers coming here because his former blindside tackle, Chad Clifton, lives in Franklin.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I Ubered him one night and had a great conversation with him. So just kind of, if you connect all the dots, makes sense.
Hey, thank you for your call, Tom.
Here, if nothing else.
Yep, thank you for your call. We really are going full on gossip today, aren't we? Kind of feels like we're going full on gossip. I mean, but and again, I don't know if that matters. There are a lot of rich and famous people who live both in Nashville and in Franklin. I mean, Caroline almost hit one of them with her car like a couple of months ago. So, like, this, this isn't new, but I don't think that the Rodgers moving to Franklin or Rodgers building a home in Franklin, I don't think that is like a monumentally big deal. But again, remember, Brady put his house for sale. Remember Brady put his house for sale in Boston, and it was like, oh my God, does this mean Brady's out in Boston? Well, hey, it's complicated real estate matter. Doesn't mean Brady's leaving the Patriots. Oh, surprise! Brady left the Patriots. Michael is up next on Aaron Rodgers. Thank you for calling the show. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I think one thing that we need to think about with this whole with Aaron Rodgers lottery or whatever, John Robinson saying, "Oh, Tannehill's definitely the quarterback," blah blah blah. We also have to remember stuff in the past, like Bill Belichick was at one point the coach of the New York Jets for a single day, and Josh McDaniels was basically going to become the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts until he went back to New England, and then at the very last minute. So I think some things change with personalities and just saying whatever they want to one day and then the next day just saying the exact opposite.
I totally agree. Thank you for your call, Michael. These are real people too. Like, that is the one thing is, like, all the news. I mean, I can't tell you how many times big news is started by simple gossip. Like, simple gossip that, especially here, where, I mean, the Titans have a beat writer for the paper, but how much news breaking does the paper try to do? I can't remember the last time the Tennessean broke a story about the Titans. I'm dead serious. Like, Jim Wyatt left in 2015. I honestly don't know how many stories the local paper has broken about the Titans since then. So it's not like we have like a media that's like sitting there looking up tax records and things that then are like bang, bang, bang. In fact, I remember the day that Ryan Johansson got hurt in the 2017 Cup run, in which somebody, like some little egg emoji on Twitter or whatever it's called, egg picture, sent me a message or sent me a tweet and was like, One of my friends works at the hospital and said that one of the players came in last night for emergency surgery. And I just kind of brushed it off like, oh, yeah, somebody's just talking whatever on Twitter.
Somebody who doesn't even have a picture as their Twitter profile.
4:30 in the afternoon, breaking news. Ryan Johansson had emergency surgery, out for the rest of the playoffs. I guess that person's right. And again, I'm not a newsbreaker. I'm not trying to break news. I'm just telling you, Aaron Rodgers has purchased land in Franklin. He's building a home. He's open to the Titans, according to multiple sources. And some of his Packer teammates in Green Bay don't think he's going back there. That's all I know. Everything else, the Robinson comments yesterday, I don't know. The idea that would Robinson move off of Tannehill in order to go to Rodgers once it got signed, sealed, delivered, I don't know. Is Robinson not even willing to explore it? Because if it gets out, then what's that mean for Tannehill? I don't know. 615-737-1025. Back to your phones and your texts on this as well. And first, though, Caroline wants to tell you about Caesars Sportsbook.
Of course, I want to tell you about Caesars Sportsbook because it is my favorite sportsbook, and here is the Caesars Sportsbook report. It is Super Bowl bye week, only 1 week away from the big game, but there's always plenty of action for us to talk about. First of all, download the app with code RADIO300, one word, RADIO300, and if you wager exactly $20 for your first bet, you'll get $300 in free bets. Win or lose, that is code RADIO300. Wager exactly $20 for your first bet. You'll get $300 in free bets, win or lose. So the opening line for the Super Bowl was -3.5 in the Rams' favor. It is now spread to 4.5, and there was a $110,000 bet put on the Bengals plus 4.5. I don't know if this person's coming out of Cincinnati or just has a lot of faith in Joe Burrow, but someone is putting a lot of money down on the Bengals to keep it close against the Rams in the Super Bowl. I don't think I would do that, but hey, you do it. Do it with your money and do it with the Caesars Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Offer valid in Tennessee and for new users only. First cash wager of $20 only. Paid as 6 bet credits. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. The goblet has dropped, so download it. Must be 21 plus.
Mr. Kraft, I'm Tom Brady, and I'm the best decision this organization has ever made.
And when the Super Bowl ended, the ball would be in the hands of Tom Brady.
After 7 Super Bowl wins, 15 Pro Bowls, and 22 seasons, Tom Brady will retire from football.
I never imagined it could be like this.
What's next for the future Hall of Famer?
I'm 44, and my family is priority for me.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Thinking about making a change? You've put in the years and had success, but ready for something more? Well, good news. Little Guys Movers is looking for folks just like you to own and operate their very own Little Guys Movers franchise. From Broadway to Brentwood to Mount Juliet, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com and then make that call.
These few weeks that encompass Valentine's Day are often a time of intimacy, a time for lovers. But erectile dysfunction can put a serious damper on your relationship. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you have ED, you know exactly what I'm talking about. ED hurts relationships by often causing friction and frustration because most couples don't even know why ED is happening. But the truth is that ED is just a disease like any other. And fortunately, it can be effectively treated at the Tennessee Men's Clinic with protocols that have success rates as high as 90%. In fact, the treatments we offer could have you lasting up to an hour. And if you're like many men, you could even have great sex the day after your appointment. So this Valentine's Day, give the one you love something truly special and do something about your ED. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
How do you do it kind of covertly? Because I'm sure the last thing John Robinson would want is to call Seattle to check in on Russell Wilson and then have, wake up the next morning to Mike Tannenbaum asking questions about, what do they think to Mike T? What do they think about the Titans trying to move on and then having to deal with Ryan Tannehill maybe being upset that the Titans are snooping around? How do you do that if that's something that you're trying to do as a GM?
Yeah, been there, guys. We have a good, not great quarterback in Chad Pennington. We drafted him in New York, developed him, and called him in and said, hey, we're going to try to trade for Brett Favre. We think he gives a better chance to beat Tom Brady than you. And we think you're a great guy, great teammate, really good player. So just want you to hear it from me. And maybe it's not the news that you wanted to hear, but I just wanted to shoot you straight and don't know what's going to happen.
There you go. That was Mike Tannenbaum on our show Friday. Chad Pennington was a fine quarterback in the 2000s. He was fine.
Good, not great.
Brett Favre was better. Brett Favre was old. Aaron's old. Aaron's better than Tannehill. And again, if you're just joining us, the news today, that was reported by us. And again, we're not saying the Titans are going after Aaron Rodgers. That is not the news. We're not saying Aaron wants to be on the Titans. That's not the news. Aaron has purchased land in Franklin and is in the process of building a home. 1. 2, Aaron is open, according to a source, to join the Titans. And 3, and this is also important, current Packer teammates believe Aaron is not going back to Green Bay. That's what we have. None of these are nothing is a declaration other than Aaron bought the land and is building a house. That's the one thing that is, and I have heard that from multiple sources, had this cleared by my bosses. Caroline's in on it. This is, it would be almost impossible for this to not be. I mean,
this is legitimate footing.
It's what we're told.
And the fact that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to return to Green Bay, I don't think is necessarily groundbreaking. I mean, this has been a topic of conversation for about a year now, the fact that Aaron Rodgers does not want to be there. But he says he's open to joining the Titans. At this point, do you think he's not open to joining any team? I don't think he wants to go to the Jags or the Jets, but the teams that have, a legitimate foundation for a solid team, he's open to all of them?
Okay,
Why wouldn't he be?
Let's take out the quarterback list.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take out
young quarterbacks and good quarterbacks.
Okay, so again, we take off all the teams that would not want Aaron. Jacksonville, Kansas City, Chargers, Buffalo, New England, Jets, Baltimore, Cincy, Dallas, San Fran, Arizona, the Rams, and Chicago, though San Fran you could talk me into. Indianapolis. Would Aaron rule out Indianapolis?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Houston. Yes.
Yes.
Vegas.
I don't think he would rule it out.
Okay. Miami.
Uncertainty at head coach.
Owner.
Owner.
There may be some uncertainty at owner.
He may
Miami
rule that out. Yeah.
Cleveland.
Maybe not. It wouldn't be at the top of my list personally, but let's not rule it out.
Guys, driving me nuts. I have this list on my phone, and so I tweeted out the video.
Oh, and you're getting bing,
and then just
bing, bing,
pop.
Wow,
pop.
must be so hard to have clout.
New Orleans can't trade for Aaron
Rodgers.
No. Atlanta probably can't trade for Aaron Rodgers. Philly, the Giants, Minnesota, Detroit.
I wouldn't want to end up any of those places.
Okay, so then there's you, Denver.
Yes.
Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Not Carolina or Washington.
Probably not.
Tampa. He's not going to Brady's team.
I wouldn't think that he would. I would say of that list, Denver seems like a legitimate landing spot. Indianapolis kind of does too.
Indy's
and
the one
so do the Titans.
Indy doesn't have a first-round pick, though, which is good. But, again, if
they
Aaron wants to...
They also have money.
If Aaron wants to go to Indy can find
They'll figure it out.
Steven is up next. Thank you for calling. 615-737-1025. Go ahead, Steven.
All right, two things. I think with the John Robinson thing, I feel like it would diminish Tannehill's value if he said anything different. Like I just feel like, he said that just because it's kind of what he had to say. I'm not sure where he stands on it. Obviously, I hope he doesn't stand by what he said there. but I feel like it would probably diminish his value a little bit, Tannehill, as far as moving him, because if you know the team wants to get rid of a quarterback, it's probably going to be easier to trade for them or have less value. And then on the Rodgers thing, I don't like him, obviously. I have the same opinions as you do, and I don't know that he would work here. I feel like he has the same mentality as like a Khalif Raymond, Rashard Matthews, those type of guys that's been cut or asked to leave the team if something starts to go awry with the team. Not Khalif Raymond, I'm sorry, Josh Reynolds.
Okay, so I don't disagree with the idea that I would be worried about that. Thank you for your call, Stephen. I don't disagree with the idea that I would be worried about that. Like a little worried about the idea that Rodgers, wouldn't fit in here, wouldn't get along with Vrabel, would make it all about himself. Like Rodgers would definitely make it about himself.
Yes.
Like there's no doubt about that.
He has and he will continue to make it about himself.
Like we're all on the same page.
That's his personality.
I don't like that. Like I personally do not like guys that are not team first.
Do you like Super Bowls?
I just know it's Tannehill. Like Tannehill, Rodgers. Like, I don't love Rodgers. It's like every time I bring up one of these quarterbacks, everybody just poo-poos it. And it's like, oh, no, not Russell. He's declining. He just got named to his 9th Pro Bowl, and he missed half the season.
And also, to be fair, if Russell Wilson is declining, what is Tannehill doing?
Oh, God.
Is he ascending? I don't think so.
We went over the last 3 years. I think the number is the last 3 years. Russell has 3 more interceptions than Tannehill since he became the quarterback of the Titans.
And 20 more touchdowns.
Yeah. Brady had 30 more touchdowns. And the idea of nitpicking Rodgers or Russell or any of these guys that would come available. And again, I do not think the Robinson comments mean they're not going to move Tannehill for Derek Carr.
No.
Would they move Tannehill if Pete Carroll says to him at the Senior Bowl, hey, Russ's people have let us know he wants a trade. There's a 3-team list. This is all, off the record, 88 and out the gate. We don't want the press knowing any of this. But there's 3 teams on the list. You're one of them. Would you have interest in Russ? And then the different conversation between Robinson and Carroll, then there would be, say, calling up, hey, Pete, what do you think? Or that they're in the market for a quarterback. I don't know. Maybe the Robinson comments completely disqualify them from any of these big quarterback sweepstakes.
I just can't believe that it does. Maybe that's just me holding out hope that the Titans are still open to making a move. But I just can't believe that that's it. What John Robinson said yesterday endorsing Ryan Tannehill is it. I can't believe it.
Robbie Stanley just texted me and said, LOL Titans fans, watch Aaron Rodgers throw one pass and you will no longer care about his personality.
Exactly. That's the thing. I understand that he is probably not the most likable guy in the world. I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily obsessed with his personality. You like Super Bowls? You like winning?
Hey, I'm sorry.
That heals a lot.
I'm sorry. But I'm not going to sit back here and have a team that had their truest opportunity to win a championship ripped away by Ray Lewis and say, well, that guy's not a good enough guy to come in here. Again, this is Aaron Rodgers. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I cannot stress that enough. I think he is
You don't have to be friends with him.
No.
You don't have to hang out with him.
No. I have no interest in Aaron. I will not, if Aaron Rodgers, and again, we still have the Robinson comments, which still bother me about whether or not the Titans, if Green Bay called LaFleur, if LaFleur calls Robinson and says, Aaron wants out, Denver's on the list, you're on the list, Pittsburgh's on the list, what would be your best offer? Does Robinson hang up and say, no, Matt, we're good with Tannehill? Or does Robinson say, okay, what are you looking for? And then have the discussion.
Entertain it, right?
And at that point, as I said, the whole time that I've done this, then this is if I ran the team, not them. Everything is off the table. Everything is on the table except for Jeffrey Simmons and A.J. Brown. Every pick is on the table. Derrick Henry is on the table. It's all on the table. All of it. What I worry about is, and again, I haven't done the cap math, and I'm sure there's going to be somebody that's like, oh, Jared, the cap, it doesn't work. It is and I just think it's all BS. I think you can find a way to make the cap work. It might kill you down the road like New Orleans, but I think you can find a way to make it work. And the thing I wonder, would Aaron demand Davante Adams to?
Probably so.
Okay. So now, like, you really do have to think about cutting Derrick Henry because
you're digging a lot.
Right. Derrick Henry is, I think he's like $15 million against the cap with like 2 or 3 dead. So you're talking about saving millions of dollars by cutting Derrick Henry. And then it's like, okay, you're going to sign Deontay Foreman and you're going to have a more pass-catching running back that comes out of the backfield.
It's going to be a completely different offense.
And it'll be running back by committee there. Mm-hmm. And then you have to find a way to get Devontae Adams.
But Devontae
and you got
Adams
A.J. Brown.
And A.J. Brown.
And you probably have to cut Julio Jones after June 1st.
How bad a cap hit is that?
It's like $4 million compared to the $13 million.
Okay, I'll take 4.
So you're saving money. Like what you're doing is you're moving money around.
I'll eat $4 million if it means I get Devontae Adams over Julio Jones.
I'm not going through this because I played with the little calculator on over the cap earlier today, and I'm not doing this. Like I will do this maybe tomorrow. Like to drag this all out. But I mean, things change if you bring in Aaron. Like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay brought in Brady. Things change. How did they change? Well, go draft me a tackle in the first round. Okay, we got you a tackle. What else you want? Go get me Gronk. All right, we got you Gronk. Go get me Antonio Brown. All right, we got you AB. I need a new running back. Go get me a new running back. Well, we just used 2 high picks on our running backs that we have now. I don't care. I need another running back. Okay, here's Fournette. All right. Like, things change. And I just don't think the Titans can be that afraid of it. I mean, again.
It's easy for us to say that whenever it's not decisions that we have to make or money of ours that we need to spend. But you got to be bold.
But sitting on your hands with Tannehill?
Nothing's going to happen. I mean, and that's exactly what it is. If you want to play it safe and if you want to continue with the same weapons that you have, you're probably going to get the same results.
So, again, to your phone, 615-737-1025, Stillman & Company. And let me just state again for the record, I am not reporting that the Titans are going after Aaron Rodgers, and I am not reporting that Aaron Rodgers wants to come to the Titans, and I am not reporting anything other than the fact that he's purchased land in Franklin, or at least Williamson County. I've been told Williamson County. He's purchased land in Williamson County, and he is building a home out there. There you go. 615-737-1025, Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red Weather Alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Keep the umbrella handy. Scattered showers continue this afternoon, tonight, and Thursday. And on Thursday, it will try to transition to freezing rain.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Joe Rexford here to let you know FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. And to celebrate, new customers can bet $5 to win $280 on either team to win when you use promo code Joe102 when registering. That's right. You get your winnings in cold hard cash because we know cash is always better than free bets. No better place to bet Super Bowl 56 than on FanDuel Sportsbook. You got all kinds of promotions for new and existing customers. Same game parlays. Of course, you can combine those small bets into big wins. You got Super Bowl props galore and more. So don't miss your chance. Turn $5 into $280 in cash. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use promo code Joe102 to make every moment more this Super Bowl. Again, it's promo code Joe102 exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older in present Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $280. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fano.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at Creation CBD. You hear me talk about them every single day because they present Darren, Donick, and Jason. We are proud to be associated with them and happy about it. And if you have aches and pains, on your body, whether it's from working out, being active, getting older, and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. Creation CBD. Creation means healing, and that says a lot. Creation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here in Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Creation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use, including your pets. And you've heard me tell this story. Our female German Shepherd has had seizures for over 3 years, and lots of them. No matter how many pills a day she was on, the vet visits, nothing changed. But since putting her on the pet tincture, everything has changed. The seizures have stopped, she's lost weight, and she's a dog again. Right now, Creation CBD has got a special offer for DDC listeners. Go to CreationCompany.com, get 25% off your order by using the code DDC25 at checkout. DDC25 at checkout for 25% off your Creation CBD products. It's Creation CBD, curated for life.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Everything is still on the table in your eyes, you're thinking at this moment.
I don't think there's any free agency is not. I don't think that's an option, but I think, but everything is definitely on the table. There are things that seem more plausible or more likely, which I won't necessarily get into, but the most important thing is first the commitment to playing and to going through the off season and training and all that stuff is the first, and then after that it's just conversations with my agent and Brian and looking at the desires of the team and the kind of the mindset moving forward, and then make a decision from there.
There you go. That was Aaron Rodgers breaking it down on the Pat McAfee Show with SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. Again, great channel. That
Big
Mad
fan.
Dog Sports Radio. Big fan over here. Speaking of breaking news, we may have some breaking news on that one at some point here. Anywho, so I guess this is kind of blowing up. Like, I've got, I guess they, would put the video out of me saying that Rodgers is building a home in Williamson County. So some guy who covers the Packers for Packers coverage by Acme Packing Co. says, and again, I don't know what that means, says in response to this, I love this, I've been told by multiple sources that a pro athlete owning property in any city guarantees they want to play for the sports team located there. It's indisputable science. I am not reporting that Aaron Rodgers wants to play for the Titans. I have never said that today. I am not saying Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Titans. Although, after watching Tannehill play the Bengals, I wouldn't be against it. I am just saying, bought a house in Franklin, or bought land that he's building a house on in Williamson County, and a source says he'd be open to playing for the Titans.
And doesn't want to go back to Green Bay.
And another source says that his Packer teammates think he's not coming back. That's all I know. And I'm not, foot in the ground, nothing there. As we were discussing during the break, it's gossip.
We're just gossiping.
It's gossip. But all this starts as gossip anyways. Remember when Brady put his home on the market? It was like, oh, don't read into Brady putting his home on the market. He always does this. Remember, he built a home in L.A., and he sold it for $50 million to Dr. Dre. Brady's not interested in leaving the Patriots, even though he's putting his mansion on the market in Boston.
This is like the player equivalent of flight tracking.
Yeah, it's all the same.
It's
gossip.
It's just fodder.
As he would say.
As he would say.
As Tom Brady would say. It's just fodder. Speaking of rabbit hole, boy, I got a rabbit hole Brady thing.
Oh, boy.
But we'll get into that at some point, I guess.
Buckle up.
Let's go to your phones. Text line's also driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What do we have there?
One texter texts in and says, no 1,000 times to Rodgers. Tannehill is a top-quality quarterback. What the Titans need for next year is guys that can protect him up front and guys that can grab the ball and not mishandle good passes resulting in interceptions. It's not on Ryan.
Did we watch the same game? I mean,
No.
Again, and I'm not one to sit there and say, that everybody out there is crazy if they don't have the same opinion as I do. I don't believe that, as much as I'm sure a lot of people think that that's how I operate. I do not feel that way. I think many people have different opinions from me, and we already did this once. We already did Tannehill, Brady, we already did this once. And we talked about it yesterday at length. Now that we know how the Brady story ends, and I think it would be debatable if Tom would retire if he was on the Titans. But again, I digress. We know how the Brady story ends.
Which doesn't necessarily mean we know how this story would end.
But would you have made the decision of the 2 years for Brady that Tampa Bay got as opposed to however long you have Tannehill for?
Yes.
And we all said yes yesterday. That Brady would have been the right choice.
Emphatically yes.
So we've already done this once. And again, this goes back to the gossip of, well, nobody ever said Tom wanted to come to Nashville. Well, okay. But we got all the butt spanking him and Vrabel did when they scrimmaged here. Brady went to a local pizza joint in Midtown and posted about the pizza joint. Brady then was open to it. Darlington told us on this show, Jeff Darlington, who is essentially in Brady's satchel, came out and said that he would be interested in the Titans if he were to go to free agency, and he thought he was going to go to free agency. And so I truly think that tampering discussions were had, backroom dealings like they all do, and trust me, it happens in the league. Just look at Brian Flores' lawsuit. Nothing is above board. So I say all of this, that you have all these backroom dealings and everything. I think that Brady let it be known to the powers that be at the Titans that he wanted to be the quarterback here, and that the Titans put everything, into a box, and they looked at it, and they read it, and they thought it out, and they decided, you know what? Ryan's younger. Ryan fits here. We know that Ryan plays the offense. Derrick Henry would not be able to fit the same in a Brady offense. Brady may be declining a little bit. Brady's in his 40s. We've never seen a quarterback this old before. Let's do the Tannehill thing. And in reality, they screwed up. And I will go to my grave thinking that no matter what. I'm sure if you ask Brady, he'll tell you, I was Tampa Bay all the time. Even though nobody ever talked about Tampa Bay. We heard about the Raiders. We heard about the Chargers. We heard about the Titans. We heard about all random places. Nobody ever brought up Tampa Bay. What else we got?
Scott in Kansas City texts in and says, definitely some tough roster and salary cap decisions would have to be made. However, it's also highly likely that free agent players look at our roster with Aaron Rodgers and want to play here for less money. How many dudes have made big money and are putting a priority on a championship going forward? Happened in Tampa, happened in Denver.
How much of the less money stuff do we really buy?
I think it would be really tough to bank on that. I think it's something that if a player comes forward and says, I'm willing to do that, and not I'm willing to restructure my contract, but
sure,
I'm willing to take less money.
Restructuring your contract is not taking less money.
No. If they say, I'm willing to take less money. If Derrick Henry comes up and says, I'm willing to make $1 million a year, if that means that Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback. I'm not saying he said that, but I'm just saying hypothetically.
Using that as
an example.
Zach Ertz, tight end.
Yes. Zach Ertz will take $500 a year if Aaron Rodgers is his quarterback.
I think, and I have to look this up, I think Tanya, the tight end in Green Bay, I think he's a free agent.
I believe that is correct.
Okay. So if Tanya
coming off a torn ACL, but
okay, sure. But that's never stopped the Titans before, has it?
It has not.
Okay. Let's say you sign Aaron Rodgers and Tanya's like, I want to be there. So instead of paying, $8 million for a tight end or whatever it costs, or whatever Tanya would be on the open market, I'm sure he'd probably be like $4 million a year or something for 2 years. So $8 million total over the whatever it ends up being, I don't know. Would Tanya be like, no, I'll take a 1 year incentive-laced contract, but I want to be on this team with Aaron because Aaron will get me the ball and we'll win.
Maybe so.
So you have that.
I'm not going to bank on it.
Here's what makes this so tricky is if you go down this road, and this was a road the Titans were not willing to go down when it came to Brady, and it is a road that I feel like they're not willing to go down now, which is the idea, the Tannenbaum clip that we played last segment, where Mike Tannenbaum said that he called Chad Pennington, and he was like, hey, we're going to try to trade for Brett Favre. We love you, but sorry about it. And the Titans were not willing to go down that route because there is not one shred that they had a scintilla of interest in Brady. So they're not doing it now because now it's Ryan's our quarterback. He's our guy. Don't think anything else. Ryan. But if you're going to make the Rodgers trade, it's going to get out even if it falls apart, especially because of the Devontae Adams element to it. Like, if Aaron wants
Devontae
a
package
here,
deal,
then they're probably going to try to get AJ. I mean, that's probably, and I'm not saying that you have
that's
to give
a
up
lot
AJ.
of tough decisions. And I think a lot of decisions that I think the Titans would have to be completely 100% on board for replacing Tannehill for. And based off of his comments yesterday, I don't think that's
They
the
don't
case.
seem like they have the
If that's
appetite for it.
blowing up the team in order to get Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, I don't see him on
As
board.
long as I don't have to blow up the defensive line, I'm totally for it. That's all I'm saying. Keep that thought. 615-737-1025. We're back to your phones. We'll reset the news again at the top of the next hour. Plus, one thing that the Robinson comments and the way the Titans are doing business is starting to bother me. I want to touch on that coming up. TriStar Moving. They are the official presenting sponsors of our show. TriStar Moving, my official movers. I love TriStar Moving, and I absolutely hate moving. But my last experience when I moved with TriStar was absolutely fantastic. There is a reason why their motto is TriStar Movers with 5-star service. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving was a breeze. They offer home protection, so they cover your floors, banisters, railings, door jambs, and even the doors themselves. Everything was taken care of in my move, including mattresses and were placed in protective bags and TVs and protective boxes. They do it all. If you're looking to move, give my friends at TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219. You can visit their website online at nashvillemoving.org/radio, where they will give you 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, my guys, TriStar Movers with 5-star service, 615-640-1219, nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee! 3-ball, yes, sir!
And when you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt free? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto can do it for you, whether you have a VA loan or a conventional loan. They're helping local homeowners convert their home equity into cash with zero closing costs. Willie Donick here. Listen, your home value is up. Let Loan Pronto tap that equity and get you the cash you need. Pay off high interest loans. Start that home remodeling project. Veteran homeowners are really loving this because with a VA loan, you can tap 100% of your home's equity. That's a ton of cash. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They are doing loans with APRs in the 2s. And if you call now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now to see what your options are. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution, and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Robbie Stanley.
Sometimes the overthinking that takes place, pretty mind-boggling.
Joe Rexroad.
Thought there was an issue. There's not an issue. There's no issue. They're doing wonderful.
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
Taking care of business this early in the morning.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
I do not want to deprive people of a close-up of my face.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Karen Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live, thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. So resetting the news today, Aaron Rodgers has purchased land in Williamson County and is building a home. Now, that does not mean that he is going to the Titans. And again, rich people go to Williamson County often. In fact, I had somebody, this is what happens when you break some news like that, then other people who know but they haven't broken it or they're not going, then they start coming forward to you with, well, here's what I've heard. So now I'm getting a correction of whether or not it's Brentwood or Franklin exactly where Rodgers is going to be moving to. It's both Williamson County.
Is that the important part here?
Well, you like to be 100% right. We've been saying
true.
Franklin.
Yeah, that is true.
Now, Ian, you live in Franklin. I've lived here my whole life. I have a hard time differentiating what the difference between Brentwood and Franklin is.
Mm-hmm. It is. Franklin is a little bit more south. You know, if you go down 65, it's about 5 or 6 exits further. Miles, yeah.
So you live in Franklin. Floyd
Correct.
lived in Brentwood.
Correct. It's just
Okay.
Franklin Road, you know, a little bit, 10 minutes, boom.
Okay, but again, both Williamson County.
Mm-hmm.
So, and another source has said it is Williamson County and gave me the development that it is. So that is for sure.
Is it bougie?
I haven't looked it up.
Oh. I'd
Wait,
like
I don't
to.
need. I don't need a source for this. Yes, it is.
Well, I don't know if he wanted some, little house in the woods. He's a big hunter fisher.
I mean, it looks like he's got a little log cabin when he does his Pat McAfee show interviews.
I mean, his appearance does look like he would live in a log cabin. No offense to log cabins. Love a nice log cabin. But he does look a bit disheveled at times. Second
thing that's in there is that he would be open to playing for the Titans. Not that he wants to come to the Titans, but that he's against it. And again, I don't have any sourcing on this, but Aaron, would you like to go to Detroit? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
hard no.
He's open to the Titans. Third thing, some of his Packer teammates, I don't want to speak for all of them, some of his Packer teammates do not think that there's any chance that he goes back to Green Bay. So that's resetting the news. I do have a question, though. As we keep bringing up the inconvenient truth to the fun gossip session that we're having so far today, which is the John Robinson comments that came yesterday on the team's website to Jim Wyatt, in which he backed Tannehill and gave us the single craziest line we've ever heard, in the sense of nobody stares down the barrel of the blitz and throws the football better than Tannehill, which was horrible.
Yeah, that's just not true.
Right, especially compared to this guy.
Yes.
But I do wonder something, because one thing I do feel like the Titan fans keep making a big deal about, or I shouldn't say Titan fans. I feel like the Titans are making a big deal about this. Whether it's Lawan, whether it's Byard, who went on some podcast I've never heard of and sat there and gave us a sob story about how Ryan Tannehill sat there in the locker room for 2 hours after the game upset with his performance against the Bengals, which, by the way, he should be upset. And I'm a little disappointed that there aren't more Titan players that are mad at him, too. But I digress.
But they ride or die for Tanny.
So the Titans have this thing of look how many games he's won us. And Robinson kind of hit on that in the Wyatt piece as well. I'm not going to make a micro evaluation of one game. He's done a lot of good things here.
But it's not just one game.
But we went over the win-loss record, and it's one game worse than Brady over the last 2 years. So since they made the decision of Tannehill over Brady, it is one game worse than what Brady's done in his 2 years in Tampa. It's when you get to the playoffs that it is a totally different story. Brady has gone on the road and beaten Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Tannehill has beaten Brady, that one, and he beat Lamar Jackson, but he didn't throw for over 100 yards in either game. And now the whole concept of, we have to be great around him, which Vrabel said last week. That whole concept now goes out the window because his cap charge this year is $38 million. So you can't build a great team around a $38 million quarterback. And if you're going to pay $38 million to a quarterback, it's definitely not going to be that quarterback. And so that's what you have there. And I wonder this, if the Titans run it back, so all the same coaches, all the same players, minus some big injuries. If they run it back, they'll probably make the playoffs next year.
Yeah.
Like maybe
they're
Indianapolis.
a solid team.
Maybe Indianapolis figures out quarterback. So that could throw a wrench into your plans. Or Trevor Lawrence is the next young guy that ascends to greatness.
Mm-hmm.
They get the wacky guy in Urban Meyer out. They bring in a good coach. Lawrence ascends, and Jacksonville's a thorn in your side. I don't think there's anything with Houston. I have no faith in them as an organization. But the one thing that all three teams have that the Titans don't have is bad ownership. Dumb ownership in Indianapolis, dumb ownership in Jacksonville, dumb ownership in Houston, which is good. So you should probably win the division. And I wonder if the Titans are approaching this like, we lost some games before Tannehill was our quarterback, and now we are winning games with Tannehill as our quarterback. And so these regular season wins in which we've won the division 2 years in a row, we did because we had Ryan Tannehill. And if you think a new quarterback's going to come in there and give us the same thing that Ryan Tannehill has given us, then shame on you. It's almost like I feel like the Titans are afraid to risk losing in the regular season if it meant giving you a better chance to win in the postseason.
I have a couple of thoughts on that. First and foremost, that mentality really frustrates me because it's the thought of, well, Ryan Tannehill is better than what we've had, so we're too afraid of getting rid of him and risking, the recent success that we found in looking for another quarterback. And to that, I say you can't have Super Bowl aspirations going into the season if you're not going to change your quarterback, because I think we've learned exactly what he is. But my second thought on that is we're going to criticize Ryan Tannehill for not winning in the playoffs when Aaron Rodgers notoriously chokes in the playoffs.
Totally fair point to bring up. Totally fair point.
He has a Super Bowl, but
I cannot forget the metric, or I forget the metric. Cannot remember the metric or whatever it was. It was something Pro Football Focus. And you know how I feel about Pro Football Focus.
Yeah.
Pro Football Focus came out and said that, when the situation is the most difficult, Tom Brady excels so much better than every other quarterback in the NFL, which I don't need some, analyticguru.com to tell me that, but I think it's fair. Rodgers probably has to be the opposite there.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers and Brady are not the same in that instance specifically. But Peyton Manning had kind of a notorious track record for not winning big games either. And Denver took them, and they won a lot of games. And they won a Super Bowl, and they got to another. And I kind of look at this as if you were to get Rodgers at this point in his career, it's a lot like the Broncos getting Manning. And I think that's why it's so much easier for the Broncos, who are just so all in.
Because they've done it before.
Right. They know.
It worked out for them.
They know we had a good team with Tim Tebow that had no chance of winning in the playoffs.
With a quarterback that was probably past his prime, but still had a ton of talent.
Talking about Manning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm saying Denver looked at it like we had a good team with Tim Tebow that had no chance of winning, in large part because we had Kyle Orton and Tim Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
We get rid of Tim Tebow. We go out and sign Peyton Manning. We're the best team in the league. Blow a home playoff game on a Hail Mary in the Super Bowl. Second best team in the league to the Patriots. Win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's – and so if you're Denver, you lose Manning. You tried Simeon. You tried Paxton Lynch. You tried Flacco. You tried Drew Lock. You tried Bridgewater. It's like, no more of these guys. I don't even care about go sell out for Rodgers. And if we don't get Rodgers, then we'll go run it back with Bridgewater and we'll win 9 games and whatever. But they don't care because they've done it with Manning before, so they're okay with it. I look at the Titans and I'm like, I feel like there's a part of it which is, yes, Tannehill is better than the average starting quarterback in the NFL. Like he's right there with Cousins and Mayfield and Wentz and all these guys who nobody thinks you can win a championship with, but it's better than running out Mariota, which is the biggest thing I think that the Titans think is, well, he's better than Mariota.
That's such a not okay way of thinking.
But I
get it. I get it. I understand. And the fear of the unknown is very scary. Especially when you know how bad it can be.
How many other playoff teams have shown a hint of interest in changing their quarterback? Right? Like Pittsburgh doesn't count. San Francisco, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh doesn't count because Ben retired.
And also Tampa Bay.
They were stuck with that. So what do we have? 12 teams now because we've taken out Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. So
Green Bay? No.
Green Bay's not interested in changing the quarterback. The quarterback's interested in leaving Green Bay.
Rams, no.
Rams, no. Cardinals, no.
No.
Dallas, no.
Philly, no.
They haven't shown any interest. I mean, they have all the firepower to do it, but I don't think they've shown any interest. Kansas City, no. Cincinnati, no. Buffalo, no. Raiders, no. So really, it's just San Francisco. That's it.
And maybe the Titans.
No. I mean, what have they shown publicly?
Speaking it into existence.
They haven't shown anything
publicly. No.
They've got on their knees and prayed to the Church of Tannehill. That's what they do around here. I mean, I got to be honest with you. Like, I knew that this Rodgers thing about him building a house in Williamson County, like, I knew about this before yesterday. And when Robinson's comments came out, like, there was a part of me that was pretty bummed out because it was like, oh, well.
I just had a doozy.
Now there's no way that they're going to entertain the idea for Rodgers. And there's no way they're going to entertain the idea from Russell, other than the sense that these guys got to play somewhere next year. Nobody talks about this, but they have to play somewhere, right? Like, Russell's not playing in Seattle next year. I would be stunned if Russell plays in Seattle next year after he gave a list to the media of the 4 teams he wanted to go to. And then he still wants to come back after they lost this past year? Hard pass. Rodgers doesn't seem like he wants to come back. I told you, his teammates in Green Bay.
He hasn't wanted to come back for the past year.
Ever since they drafted Jordan Love, he doesn't want to come back. And I think there is a part of Rodgers that, again, goes back to the narcissistic elements about him as the quarterback. But I think there is a part of Rodgers that wants to see Green Bay burn. And I don't care about that. So if you want to ship off Tannehill to Green Bay as part of a trade and Green Bay win some games because Tannehill will win you some games, knock yourself out. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Do we value the regular season too much? Like, I mean, are the Titans valuing it? I don't know. We'll get your thoughts on it next. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robbie and Rexo, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Ray Magliozzi here. eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And if there's one thing I love, it's great parts and great prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The cold winds of winter are here, and that means it's a great time to replace those old, drafty windows. Pella is the leader in the industry for top-quality window and door products. But Pella Windows and Doors are also affordable, extremely affordable. Pella has payment plans less than $95 a month to replace your windows. So, I suggest you purchase your windows and doors from the experts at Pella of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics. If you have painful joints, arthroscopic surgery may be the cure to solve your pain. Arthroscopic surgery is minimally invasive and provides faster recovery time. The experienced doctors at Houston Clinic Orthopedics may be able to get you feeling back to normal with an arthroscopic surgery of your knee, shoulder, hip, elbow, wrist, or ankle. Each of the 10 locations in Middle Tennessee has an arthroscopic surgeon that can determine if this type of surgery is the best option for you. Visit tn.houston.com to learn more and to book an appointment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics. When experience matters.
Nashville's best deal of the week is the Mainstay Bar and Grill in East Nashville. The Mainstay is located at 501 Main Street and is your local spot to enjoy all your sports along with great food and friends. With over 25 TVs, 20 taps, and nightly events like trivia and much more, you can't go wrong. The Mainstay Bar and Grill. Good drinks, good people, good times. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals now to get half off a $30 gift card to the Mainstay while supplies last.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
We just said they can't win a Super Bowl with Ryan.
I'm not saying that. You guys are saying that. If that's what you're saying. I don't know if A.J. Brown is saying
Well, the head coach said it.
He didn't say that. He said you've got to have a great team around Ryan Tannehill to win.
Okay, Willie, which means if everything's not perfect, Ryan's not going to win a Super Bowl. He's just not going to do it. So everybody needs to be great. And what did I say last week? That's just not going to happen. In other words, he's saying, Ryan's really not our guy, but we stuck with him.
There you go. That was D. Mace. I love that clip. I don't know why I love it on the midday show. Derek Mason. Honestly, Derek's probably still the best receiver in the history of the Titans. Though AJ at least has an argument. Nobody else even came close to an argument. And Derek's like, yeah, you can't win with Ryan Tannehill as your quarterback. And Willie's like, well, I'm not saying, yeah, no, you can't. I mean, like, if Derek thinks that, and Keith Bullock thinks that, and I think that, and you think that, why do the Titans not think it?
I mean, I think that he does think it.
They don't. They won't say it?
I think Vrabel, exactly like G-May said, Vrabel said, you got to be great around him.
How can Vrabel, who played with Tom Brady, think for a second that he can win? It's one thing to think, can you do it with Tannehill? Can you do it with Tannehill? And then you go through these last three playoffs, and it's not like they got to the AFC Championship game and Tannehill just got, outgunned by Josh Allen. It was, you scored 16 points. That's it. The end. You scored 16 points and turned the ball over 3 times. I mean, it was an unmitigated disaster of epic proportions. I promised your phones, again, the gossip of the day, Aaron Rodgers building a house in Williamson County. Now, the thing that I cannot say enough is that a lot of rich people are moving to Nashville, and especially the Williamson County area, because you're outside of the jurisdiction of Metro Nashville. And as somebody who pays property taxes in Metro Nashville, I get it. I also think, too, what we know about Rodgers and his vaccine comments make me think that the idea of going back to his Malibu mansion to $28 million home probably isn't as great. Because do you really want, everybody telling you what you have to do all the time? By the way, and not to get political here, because that's not what we do, what a bad look by the governor of California.
To be at the game maskless.
To be without a mask in the box. And I don't, look, I go to games. I went to the Preds game yesterday. I didn't wear a mask.
I have nothing against people going to games maskless, but don't enforce all of these regulations.
Don't tell everybody that you got to wear a mask and then go to the game and stand next to Magic Johnson and not wear a mask.
And also, this wasn't the first time he's done that.
No, he had a dinner a couple years, but it was one thing when it first happened and it was still embarrassing. Now it's dude, come on now.
But that's what I'm saying. It's this is not his first offense.
No.
It is a bad look.
But so do you want to live there? That's the thing, right? I think it's great. This is what I think is great about Nashville, is that it is a big enough city. It's a big enough city that they don't freak out over famous people. Mm-hmm. There are famous people everywhere in here. But it's not like these states where they just tell you, where they basically rule over you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
New York, Illinois,
you pretty much have freedom
California.
To do whatever you want to do, and in most cases, regardless of your vaccination status.
That's why everybody wants to go to Florida.
My sister lives in New York City, and she can't go anywhere without showing her vaccination card.
People and
can go into a CVS pharmacy.
I'm completely vaccinated as you can be, and I'm Tennessee is a lot more fun than other places.
I like it.
Tennessee's more fun. Florida's more fun, and there's no state income tax, and that's a big deal too. No state income tax.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to your phone. 615-737-1025. Phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
One texter texts in and says, we started hearing the same Tannehill excuses we heard from Mariota a few years back, and when they upgraded, it paid off, but that has now reached its limit. So if you want to go further, you're going to have to upgrade again.
Yeah. This reminds me of something Floyd told me one time, and I remember it was at the Music City Center, and I don't remember why we were there. And he told me, you have no idea how much harder it is to go from from 11-5 to 13-3 than it is to go from 3-13 to 9-7. He's like, it's not that. When you're that bad, it's not hard to look at your offensive line and be like, all right, need to get a couple of tackles, need to get a pass rusher. And when you're this bad, normally you have a lot of cap space, so you can just do kind of whatever you want. The Giants, for some reason, have no cap space, and I don't know why. But for most of these teams, you have the cap space to be able to do whatever you want. But when you're good, it's hard to get in the elite level. Like the Predators have been good on and off certain times, but they've been essentially good for the last 7 years. But elite, they were there 1 year and they still couldn't get over the hump. And this year when they get into the playoffs, I'm telling you, I don't think they've got an elite scorer, and that's ultimately going to catch up to them. And so it's hard. Like getting to that next level is hard. And the thing I said yesterday, Brady played 20 seasons in the NFL as a quarterback, and he went to 10 Super Bowls. So half the time that he was in the NFL, he went to the Super Bowl. And think about all the great quarterbacks that have lived throughout the Brady era. So that is, right, like Elway is the cutoff. Kurt Warner has one. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees has one. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. Big Ben and Peyton have two, and Peyton's second one was total passenger.
Russell has one.
Russell has one. He might be in the Hall of Fame.
Dan Marino doesn't even have one. I know it's not the Brady era. But
Mahomes has one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to think that at some point, like Jackson, Allen, Herbert, like those guys will probably compete. Burrow, Burrow might get his one this year. He might not get his one this year. But like that's a hard thing to. I mean, again, half the time Brady was in, he was in the Super Bowl, but now he's gone. So now it's kind of more open, but it's hard. It's hard to get that much better. This is a way to do it, you would think. And if they do this and they fail, so it doesn't work like Denver and it doesn't work like Tampa Bay, fine. At least you tried. And then when you have to reset, whenever that day comes and you're not very good, I'm not going to blame Vrabel and I'm not going to blame Robinson. But if you go into the playoffs next year with Ryan Tannehill and he craps his pants again, it's all on both of you.
But I think that's what a lot of fans are afraid of, is being so bad that they would rather be, go to the playoffs, maybe get bounced in the first round, maybe make it to the divisional round, but know that they have some consistency with their quarterback and have some consistency with their team.
See, I think that's what the team wants. I think the team says,
maybe so.
Hey, we can get to the playoffs with Ryan Tannehill. Good enough. And I don't operate like that. But that's how they operate. San Francisco does not operate like that.
Which I think is such a disservice to Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry. These players that really could be they're making a Super Bowl caliber team. But there's one key element that's holding them back.
Sure, the Rams don't care.
No.
The reset is coming for the Rams. It is coming. And just
they're
like
going
it's
to be
come for
bad,
Denver.
and they're going to have no money.
It's come for Denver.
It's coming for New
Tampa
Orleans.
Bay. It's coming for New Orleans. It came for New England. It's still coming for New England. The reset is coming. And the Rams don't care. The Rams do not care.
But where are the Rams right now?
And the Rams will get to say this. The same thing Denver will get to say. We went to 2 Super Bowls. When we went all in on Manning and we built a team around Manning, we got to 2 Super Bowls and we won one of them. The Rams are going to be able to say, we got to 2 Super Bowls. And maybe they'll be able to say that they won one of them. But that's the problem. When you defend Robinson, when you talk about, Robinson has the most, volatile resume any general manager has ever had, I think, in the NFL. He's had 6 seasons where he has won every single year. He has been to the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years. He fired a coach after a miracle playoff win and getting to the divisional round of the playoffs. And he won't fire anybody or do anything on the offensive side of the ball after the bullcrap that we watched in the divisional round here against the Bengals. He cannot draft in the first round, and he's knocking home runs out of the park in the later rounds. It's so hard to understand. But the biggest defense of Robinson, if anything else, is the 6 winning seasons and the 4 playoffs in 5 years. That's it. That's what people point at and say, okay, that is what makes Robinson a good GM. That's what I say when it comes to Robinson being a good general manager. Well, why would you screw that up if you're Robinson? If Tannehill's your quarterback, you get a 7th winning season.
But also, at some point, doesn't something have to give?
Well, I don't care about 7 winning seasons next year. I mean, I was drum banger number 1 when it came to 6 winning seasons. I don't care about a 7th winning season. I don't care about 6 playoffs and 5 playoffs in 6 years. If you literally are incompetent offensively when you get in there, and not incompetent because you don't have good players, but incompetent because you're quarterback. I have no interest in that.
Is Tannehill incompetent?
His play was incompetent this season.
Okay, I think that's more fair
that Bengals
to say.
game. A backup
The
quarterback.
Bengals game was incompetent.
A backup quarterback wins you the Bengals game. Just like Patrick Mahomes' second half against Cincinnati was complete incompetence. Really, the last play of the first half and everything else after that. So it was basically the opposite of when they played the Titans in the AFC Championship game, and Mahomes made an incredible play right before the half, and that carried over into the second half, and you got beat. More of your phones next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Chris Sanders will join us later this hour. I'm sure he'll love to talk about the gossip as well. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Jump in the mind of an NHL veteran as Predators analyst Hal Gill joins Stillman and Company Tuesday afternoons at 5:30.
Here they are in a pressure situation every night because they need 2 points.
And Robbie and Rexroad Thursday mornings at 9:30.
Goaltending, I think it might be an issue at some point.
Presented by Duncan on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Blood Assurance, the area's only nonprofit community blood center, announces they'll be giving away 8 tickets to the Nashville Predators Stadium Series game. Stop by the new Blood Assurance Hermitage location on Lebanon Pike January 25th through February 3rd for your chance to win. 1 donation saves 3 lives, and Blood Assurance needs your help saving local lives today. Find it in your heart to donate. Go to bloodassurance.org/schedule for information.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people, it takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I'm excited to tell you about our friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and their heating and air stimulus plan. If your AC or heating unit is old and inefficient, then you need to take advantage of their special offer right now. They will double your tax refund up to $1,000. Huge savings with Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Get a York unit that lasts with a 10-year parts and labor warranty with up to 60 months, no interest financing on all York units. Restrictions do apply. Schedule now at springhillac.com. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Thursday night.
Here is LeBron asserting himself as he goes down and scores.
It's an all-LA matchup.
George into the paint, to the rim with the right hand. Wow.
as the Lakers take on the Clippers. Coverage begins at 8:30
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game. I still would maintain that it's the best chance for him to accomplish what he wants to accomplish, which is win another Super Bowl. I do think it's really tied to Davante Adams' situation. He's already been on record as saying that he's the best player that he's played with, and obviously they have a close friendship. And so I think Davante's situation, will have an impact in terms of what he decides to do. And that means long-term deal and franchise tag. Look, if Davante is franchised, it means it's a one-year deal, where he needs to have a good season. I could see Aaron playing in that situation. So, look, I think the other thing that we need to remember, too, is Aaron Rodgers still under contract with the Green Bay Packers. And so while he has a ton of power and leverage in this situation because of the type of player that he is, it's not just solely up to him. And that's never been the case. That's why I've always maintained that he would end up back in Green Bay. Somebody please tell me what the trade value is for a guy that has dominated the league the way he has over the last 4 years. If Matthew Stafford was traded for what he was traded for, who knows and who knows if anyone has enough firepower to put a trade together to actually get Aaron Rodgers. People need to always remember that. He's under contract. Yes, high cap number, but it's not just Aaron's decision.
There you go. That was Tim Hasselbeck. I also love if Stafford is 2 first-rounders, does anybody even have enough ammo for Rodgers?
It's a fair question.
Yes, but that's not how this works. If the player doesn't want to be there anymore and you decide you're going to deal the player, then...
And you're not going to hold him hostage with 6 first-round picks.
Right. Remember when Adam Schefter reported that the Patriots wouldn't trade Garoppolo for 4 first-round picks? And then they ended up trading him for a second-round pick? I mean, come on. Why'd they trade him? Because the owner told Belichick, trade him. So he did. And he got a second-round pick out of it. And he got to pick where he went. I do want to touch on this before we get back to your phones. Chris Sanders is going to join us later this hour, former Titans receiver. I'm sure he's going to love the Aaron Rodgers is buying a house in Williamson County, or he's already bought it. He's building a house in Williamson County gossip. But guess what? That's why we, love Chris. So there's a lot of stuff. I got to give Jim Wyatt credit. There's a lot of stuff in the John Robinson interview. We just kind of went for the big detail, which was Tannehill. Did you see what he said about Julio Jones?
I don't think I did.
So, remember what the old man used to say, Ian? Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something he used to always say. This was John Robinson on Julio Jones. Quote, he came and certainly helped us down the stretch, Robinson said of Jones. He got off to a nice start in Seattle, made a couple of big plays for us, then fought through some things throughout the course of the season that kept him out of some games or limited him in some other games, but he fell into the groove at the end of the season and made some plays for us. He's a consummate pro who works hard and was one of the first guys in the building. He does things the right way, and you can tell why he's done it for a long time and why he'll have a gold jacket one day. Found a groove at the end of the year? That's a groove? I mean, those 5 passes Julio caught at the end of the season?
The touchdown he scored at the end of the season?
That's a groove? Is that? I'm dead serious. Here you go. Houston, 9 targets, 5 for 58, 1 touchdown. Cincy, 6 for 62, no touchdowns. 6 for 62 is when you're paying a guy $15 million and a second-round pick, 6 for 62 is a regular game. Didn't AJ have 140 in that game?
Well, he didn't necessarily say, he was this superstar at the end of the season. But, more production toward the end of the season than you saw throughout the regular season, yes. I'm not going to nitpick the words he used.
It sounds like a lot of sugarcoating. What's the difference?
They're professional sugarcoaters.
What's the difference between 6 for 62 and 4 for 33? You caught the ball 2 more times.
Yes, for more yards.
Okay, well, that's what he did against Jacksonville during the season. Or, here you go.
More.
6 for 128 against Seattle.
Uh-huh.
That's the groove.
Yes.
That's fine. 6 for 62?
I think it's all relative here.
I also, in the Robinson article, and maybe I should save this, But in the Robinson article, he talked about Harold Landry. And I love how everything is completely and totally couched. Quote, we are working through the guys whose contracts are up, and some younger guys will have to continue to. Oh, no. That's the offensive line, decision Landry. We have a plan to forecast how we are going to allocate salary cap resources. Hold on. That's the one on. Again, this is all one long article. But he talked about Landry and basically said they want to bring Landry back, which, duh. I think Harold wants to be with us, not to speak for him. We are going to do everything we can to try and keep Harold, but we understand there's a lot of things that need to go down too. So it's kind of couched with, hey, we want to keep Harold, but I was told that that they're working on a deal, that the Titans and Landry are working on a deal, and that they got a long way to go.
Really?
Oh, I was told a long way to go.
On whose end?
Well, I mean, both. Like, they have to,
Well, I didn't know if that necessarily meant one side of the deal wasn't willing to do what the other wanted.
Well, that I can't tell you. I can just tell you that they have a long way to go. That's what I was told.
Okay.
And that, look, there's a downside. If they tag Landry, right, it's $18 million plus against the cap. Like, straight up $18 million for 1 year. $18 million is not a bad 1 year salary to then go back into the free agent pool and go get your money. Like, that's not bad if you're Landry, because then you just look at it like, okay, say you sign a 4-year, $60 million deal or 4-year, $80 million deal, but it's really a 5-year and then tack on $18 million to it. And that's $18 million real dollars. It's not like the contracts they sign where the money's all crazy and there's everything else. So that's at least kind of an interesting element here. But, like, I think that Landry knows that the team needs to work out a deal with him because they can't carry an $18 million number this year. The cap's supposed to explode in the next couple of years. So you'd rather get a low number this year and then have it go up in the following seasons.
But then you're committed to him for 4 years.
Or 2 or 3 or whatever it ultimately ends up becoming.
A longer deal.
Sure, which is what Harold probably wants.
Yes.
I just know this. I know that they're a ways away. That they are that Robinson, hey, we want to get it. Robinson saying we want to get a deal done. Some things got to work out. And I just know that they are far apart. Now, they got time. I think March 8th is the tag deadline. So that's when they'd have to make a decision. But I just know they're a ways apart. What do we have in the text line? 615-737-1025.
One texter says, with an incredible defense and running game, if the Titans are going to mortgage the farm for a Super Bowl, now is the time.
Yeah. And I have never, you all know me. I like picks. I like trading back in the draft. I like salary cap space. I like fake contracts where you really bring a guy in and it's a 1-year fake contract, but you goose it up so that people think that it looks like a good deal, and then you can cut the guy and move on. And I don't like committing. And I've never been like a put all the chips in the middle and go for it guy until now. Until I saw that you have the foundation of a great team. This is a team that if it were not for Tannehill being lousy this year, and you can argue with me that if another quarterback had been in, they would have lost some games that they won with Tannehill this year. Maybe I'll give you the Texan game, but I surely think that any good quarterback should have beaten the Texans at least once. Mm-hmm. But I think Tannehill cost them the Jets game. I think Tannehill cost them the Steelers game. I think Tannehill cost them the first Texans game. You lost 5 games. 15-2, like that's an elite team. So you have the makings, in my opinion, of what is an elite team, but you are regressing at quarterback. And I don't think you can win at quarterback. So I am willing to push the chips in and maybe screw things up down the road, maybe even screw things up right now at the attempt of going out and getting the guy that, like Peyton in Denver or like Brady in Tampa, can put you over the top.
I mean,
and I would do it all for one Super Bowl.
Of course you would. I mean, because that's the goal. That's the end goal. And at least getting a shot at the Super Bowl. I mean, it would be incredibly devastating if the Titans went all in for a quarterback that didn't work out and they have no cap space in the future, so on and so forth. That would be incredibly devastating. But you have to make a move just in hopes that a Super Bowl comes from it. I mean, my college football team won a national championship, and we've been absolute garbage since. I would do it again for a national championship. I would do it again. And that's easy for me to say, seeing as though we already won it. But it's so worth it.
I think back to Denver, where Denver pushed the chips in on Peyton, and Elway, no matter how hard he tried, and then again, I think there's some questions to how hard Elway tried if you read the Brian Flores lawsuit. But no matter how hard he tried, Elway could not find the right coach. He could not find the right quarterback. And they've tried, and they've been lousy. And I would do that. I would be Denver. I would be Denver for the next 6 years if it meant the Titans got to won one Super Bowl and had at least 3 good years with Rodgers. Because then I can say, okay, you've had almost a decade of good Titans football. I'm not trying to be greedy and get 20 years of greatness like New England got. I'm not interested in that because I don't think that it's very feasible unless you find a way to get the greatest player of all time.
And everything is cyclical. But right now, the Titans are at the top of that cycle.
Yes.
You have to take advantage of it.
Yes,
because you're just going to fall down again.
I've told the story about watching playoff games when the Titans are lousy and thinking to myself, oh, my God, look how far away the Titans would be from the 2016 Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they are so far away from that. And then it's even worse when you're watching playoff games on Saturday or Sunday this past week, and you're like, the Titans would have beaten Kansas City. The Titans should have beaten the Bengals. The Titans did beat the 2 teams playing in the NFC title game. That is not an easy pill to swallow. And that's where you have to think, okay, so how can you get better? And there's the long-term approach, which is, hey, go out this year and draft well in the first round and draft well in the third round and draft well in the fourth round and draft well, and then you'll be good for a long time with those guys. But there is the sense that, well, if you run Tannehill back out there, then what does that ultimately mean long-term? Chris Sanders will join us next. 615-737-1025, former Titans receiver. Let's run the Rodgers gossip by him, get his thoughts on that, plus his thoughts on the Robinson comments that Tannehill's the quarterback, and his thoughts on the Brian Flores stuff too. 615-737-1025, Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Keep the umbrella handy. Scattered showers continue this afternoon, tonight, and Thursday. And on Thursday, it will try to transition to freezing rain.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
When purchasing your next vehicle, it's nice to know that you can deal with a locally owned dealership like Payne Chevrolet that has been in the same family for over 96 years. Home of the lifetime powertrain warranty on new and pre-owned vehicles, Payne Chevrolet also makes it easy to shop. You can literally go to PayneChevrolet.com, point, click, and drive away in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Check out Payne Chevrolet in Springfield on Memorial Boulevard or go to PayneChevrolet.com. Payne Chevrolet, 9 decades, 4 generations, and 1 tradition.
Hey everybody, Robbie Stanley here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's as the neighborhood bar and restaurant to catch the next Preds game. Jasper's is located on West End Avenue and offers a fun atmosphere with a game room, TVs, and a large bar and lounge area. Plus they offer free parking. That's right, free parking on West End, and offer specials for every Preds game day, including $10 smash burgers and $3 bottled domestics. So come on down to Jasper's next game day for happy hour every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m. and 2-for-1 beers all day on Sundays. Just tell them that Robbie Stanley sent you.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick & Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 1025 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Meshing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company. By the way, I got some thoughts that I want to get to. I got some straight thoughts, and I'd be very excited to get into those. But I got some thoughts on this Brian Flores lawsuit that I do want to get out there. But again, today we are starting off on the news that was broken on this show that Aaron Rodgers has purchased a home in Williamson County. There is some debate. Multiple sources are now conflicting whether it is technically Brentwood or Franklin, but that he has purchased a home in Williamson County and is building a home there. The second source says that Aaron would be, quote, open to the Titans. The third source saying that some of his Packer teammates believe that there is no chance that he returns to Green Bay. Nobody gossips as well as Chris Sanders, who joins us now on the program. Former Titans receiver, presented by Mercedes-Benz of Music City, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, and Toyos Clinic, Smile, LASIK, and Hair Restoration. So, Chris Sanders, as a Williamson County resident and a former Tennessee Titan, what are your thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers gossip?
I mean, yeah, it's gossip. I mean, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. It's kind of like a couple of years ago when Brady was supposed to be in the NBA, and I work in the NBA, so I don't know if it is true or not. But if it is true, I think it's exciting for Tennessee, bad for Tannehill. But, man, I'm just up in there about the whole thing.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you this right now. It is 100% true that he's buying a house in Williamson County. Now, next
door to me, right?
I mean, I know you made some cash in your days, Chris. I'm not sure you made the Rodgers. I'm not sure you got the Rodgers rate, but
everyone gets the Rodgers rate.
Yeah, that is true. I do wonder this, though.
Yeah.
Like, how much of this, when you hear it as a guy who played, is rich dude buying another house in a place that people want to be, and how much of it is, man, that is a shot that he wants to come to the Titans?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it'll be good. It's exciting. It'll be a lot of buzz, and I think you'll get a lot of people excited because, you know, everybody's talking about how bad Tannehill is, and now you have Rodgers that just, quote, quote, purchased a home. Yeah, but if he comes here, yeah, it's going to be exciting. And you just went from a team that has a possibility of going to the Super Bowl to guaranteed to going to the Super Bowl. That's how crazy it is.
Okay, here's my other question on this. John Robinson came out yesterday at the Senior Bowl and said that Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback of the Titans and said he was not going to judge Tannehill off of one game, the Cincinnati game. Said, hey, Tannehill's done a lot of good for us in the past, but then had this wild line in there that is like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but nobody throws the ball better when staring down the barrel of a blitz than Ryan Tannehill does. I just don't believe that. I think it's ridiculous. And I do wonder if the Titans are either just sugarcoating and pumping up their quarterback, or if they're actually of the belief that they could win a Super Bowl with this guy.
I actually believe that they can win a Super Bowl with him, and I'm going to tell you why. If you look at in 2019, when they were 2-4, he took a 2-4 team and took them to the AFC Championship. And then in 2020, let's talk about statistics. He had 33 TDs, he had 6 interceptions, and a QB of 106.7. So if he's done that before, he can definitely do it again. I mean, because you look at when they were 2-4, it was a different kind of pressure. He was sitting behind Mariota. Nobody expected anything. He comes here and he plays with an attitude. I mean, TD always talks about it all the time, playing with the attitude and playing with a little bit of stankness. If he gets that back with this defense and with these weapons on the offensive side, I'm telling you, Jared, just relax. I believe that he can take this team to a Super Bowl.
See, nobody else does, though. Like, that's the hard part that I have with this. Chris, and I love you. And we talk about this all the time. I think you say some wild things, but the people love you because, one, you were a good Titan. Two, you're the most optimistic and enthusiastic analyst talking people, period. But, like, I mean, D. Mace is all over the fact that he doesn't think you can win with Tannehill. I just – my thing is, you went to the fact that, hey, he got them to the AFC Championship game.
Right.
And then what happened in the AFC Championship game? Tannehill wasn't very good. Last year against the Ravens, Tannehill wasn't very good. This year against the Bengals, Tannehill was absolutely atrocious. Okay. I mean, at some point, don't you need to win the playoff games to prove that you can win in the playoffs?
Okay, let's rewind this tape real quick. Remember I think it was last year when we were thinking about getting Brady. Who stood on the chair and said, we don't need Brady and we need Tannehill? Who said that?
I mean, I thought
don't backtrack.
I didn't stand on the chair
it?
and scream about it. I would have been. I would have been.
Goodness, Jared.
I would have been totally fine with Tom Brady. I voted. Well, it's like, okay, there's a difference between standing outside with a bullhorn and a sign telling people who they should vote for and putting your vote in. I put my vote in. Ian, back me up on this one.
Ian, wasn't he on the chair screaming that we need to go with Tannehill instead of Brady?
It did feel like during that whole, Tannehill over Brady.
I voted for Tannehill. I was not sitting there saying.
To standing on the chair.
I was not I mean, that was not like an ultimatum. Like the passion that I have to get rid of Tannehill is like 500 times how I felt about Tannehill over Brady then.
You need to go on timeout right now. Seriously.
But I've already said, Chris, I was wrong. And I think a lot of people have said the same thing. I just need the Titans to get to the same conclusion. And they won't do it.
What's the difference between this year and last year when he just had listen, I understand what you're saying, and I respect what you're saying. He did not play well this year. He had a lot of interceptions. He was staring down receivers. He didn't lead his team to victory. But you don't think he's going to work on his weakness and come back and be the player that he was in 2019 and 2020? And if he does that, you don't think that he can get the Tennessee Titans to the Super Bowl?
Do you think he will do that?
I think he can, because the reason why the reason why I say I know he will is because sometimes when you get backed up against the wall, that's when you come out your best. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. About 3 or 4 years ago, they were going to get rid of Derrick Henry. And what did they do? Nobody wanted Henry. He trusted the process. Eddie George came and talked to him and said, dude, you got to start running with authority. You got to start running with some tenacity. That changed his whole career around. A couple of years later, he gets 2,000 yards. He's the best back of all times. Same thing with Tannehill. When your back is against the wall, when everybody says you can't make it, when everybody says that you can't take me to the Super Bowl, you don't think he's going to come out fired up and master his craft on the offseason and prove to Jared Stillman that he can lead this team to a championship? You don't think he's going to do that? Absolutely.
I do think he will not do that. That is my firm belief. And here's what kills me about Tannehill is the Titans. And Mike Tannenbaum, who was his general manager in Miami and got fired, because they didn't win enough games.
Yeah.
Mike Tannenbaum was on our show Friday, and he was just to the wall, all in on Tannehill. And I listened to these Titan players talk. And Kevin Byard went on a podcast and was basically like, Tannehill beats himself up so hard after the Cincinnati game. He sat in the locker room, and he didn't leave the locker room until 2 or 3 hours after the game because he was so hard on himself. And the Titans were talking about, he had a bad game, but we don't want that. It's like I feel like the Titans have this cover that they feel like they have to give to Tannehill. And I wonder, it's like it almost comes off as soft to me that this team can't look in the mirror and be like, man, this guy cost us the game. You don't think Al Del Greco cost you the game in 2000 when you lost to the Ravens?
Yeah, but here's the thing that you're missing, though, Jared, and all your stuff is valid, kind of. But listen to what Bayer said. It says he beats himself up and he sat in the locker room.
Why do I care about that? He should beat himself up. He's stunk.
No, listen to what I'm saying. It's because he cares. When you have a quarterback who cares about his players, who cares about winning, that's who I want on my team, because there's quarterbacks that will lose in this situation and be like, man, whatever. But when you have a guy that sits in his locker to say, you know what, I let my team down. I blew a great opportunity because you care, I'm going to fight with that guy, because everybody wants the instant gratification. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you got to trust the process. If you don't trust the process, you're not going to get to where you get. Let's talk about Brady. Brady just retired. Look at what he went through. If he didn't trust the process at Michigan, when he was the third quarterback, he would have never been the greatest quarterback of all times. Sometimes you got to sit and step back, trust the process, and then the reward's going to come. But if you jump ship and get mad, say, get him out of here, you're going to bring somebody in that's not a good fit, and it's going to tear everything absolutely up.
Okay, let's say they give Tannehill another chance. Tannehill blows it again. Then is it on everybody else? Or then is it, okay, now we realized, and you wasted a season in which you could have had a Super Bowl team this upcoming season?
Yeah, but nothing's guaranteed, though. You can bring another quarterback in here. He gets hurt. What do you do now? So we don't know. It's the if. But I would rather not deal with the if and deal with the guy that I have now, a guy that cares, a guy that leads. Yeah, he had a bad season. Absolutely. Every quarterback has a bad season. But look at his face when he runs off the field, how angry he was. I will deal with a guy like that to say, you know what, even though I blew it, even though I messed up, even though I had the greatest opportunity, I'm coming back even harder, stronger, and mad with a tenacity that's going to kick everybody's tail in the NFL. That's the guy that I'm rolling with.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
it's like I hate doing this because once you get off here, I'm going to start talking bad about all the things that you just said.
Oh, my God.
But here's what gets me on the Tannehill front
when
it comes to that. Everybody's defensive Tannehill is about non-football related things.
It is about football.
It's all like, hey, you know what? This guy cares. He cares. I care too. Guess what? I don't need to be the quarterback of the Titans.
You're not an athlete, man. That's why you can't be quarterback. That's number one.
I care, though. That's the qualification they give me for Tannehill. He cares. Or 2 years ago, he had a good year. Yeah, well, it ain't 2 years ago.
When you have a quarterback who cares, that means he wants to win. Because you have people in the NFL that cares about me. Look at all the quarterbacks that came in this system, and I'm being respectful, that cared about themselves. How many times did they make it to the AFC Championship? Not once. But when you have
I hear you. I hear you. Rodgers does not care about anybody but himself, and that bothers me.
Okay. You
but
just
he's
said it.
better than Tannehill, and that's all I care about.
Why would you bring in here and bring him in a guy who cares about himself that can mess up the locker room when you have a guy that does care, that's going to fight every tooth and nail and not point fingers at his teammates and put the blame on him? Why would you bring a guy in there?
Because I know I can't win with Tannehill.
But do you have a guy?
I'm not sure.
Rodgers?
I'm not sure I can win with Rodgers, but I think there's a chance I can win with Rodgers. I don't think I can win with Tannehill. I cannot win with Tannehill.
So you're guaranteed to say that you can win with Rodgers. I understand his skill set.
I didn't say that. That was the opposite of what I just said.
But at the end of the day, man, it's kind of like that pop-up game. If it doesn't fit, it's going to pop up in your face. And if you bring a guy in there that disrupts the locker room, you're going to that peg is not going to fit in there, and it's going to pop up in everybody's face. Trust the peg that got you there. That is the right fit, even though the game that he played last was terrible. But trust the process. That's why teams win, man, because you trust the process, dangummit.
Oh, you know those Rams that trusted the process and got rid of their quarterback and got a better quarterback?
Okay.
Oh, yes.
And I guarantee you they won't win the Super Bowl because they're a whole bunch of me guys.
We shall see. We shall see. 50-50 chance. Chris Sanders, as always. Chris, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Doc. Love you.
Yep, love you too. Chris and I are going to be arguing back and forth all the time.
I appreciate Chris's loyalty.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, he's the only former Titan that is back to Tannehill. Well,
that we know of.
Eddie George talking to TMZ. But when you saw the Eddie George talking to TMZ thing, it really felt like it was kind of one of those, like, Eddie was playing like politician, you know?
Maybe so. And that's also part of their job.
And that's, Eddie, I'm the greatest living Titan of all time.
Yeah,
so, let me make
kind
sure
of his
that
job.
Have in what I have here. Chris Sanders, presented by Mercedes-Benz of Music City, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, and Toyo Smile, LASIK, and Hair Restoration will reset the Rodgers news. Plus, I want to react to some of the things that Chris said. We'll do that coming up next. 615-737-1025. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app. And if you are a new FanDuel Sportsbook customer, you need to use the promo code JGM, and you can get in on the best. That's right, the best offer I think that they've had, because they are an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. And to celebrate, new customers can bet $5 to win $280 in cash on either team to win with the promo code JGM. There is no better place to bet Super Bowl 56 than FanDuel Sportsbook. Promotions for new and existing customers. They've got same-game parlays where you can combine small bets for bigger wins, tons of Super Bowl props, and much more. Don't miss your chance to turn $5 into $280 cash by downloading the FanDuel Sportsbook app and using the promo code JGM to make every moment more during the Super Bowl. Again, that's promo code JGM exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And again, I'm going to tell you this, I will go with the Rams, but I'm not sold on it either. So it's a tough one to make. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only, $10 first deposit required. Must wager in a designated offer market. Max bonus $20. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Did you see the Tennessee Titans? He has all the weapons to make it happen.
There's so much to pay attention to.
Greeny from 9 to 11.
Ryan Tannehill is the most disrespected player.
Art and Han from 11 to 2.
You never stop punching. They've got to learn how to close the deal.
And the Paul Feinbaum Show afternoons from 2 to 6.
Are these legitimate contenders to the party?
Your exclusive home for ESPN Radio in the Music City.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Now through February 2nd, join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness for zero enrollment and only $10 a month. With tons of equipment and free fitness training, it's the perfect place for everybody to work out.
Even me, mother of very fussy triplets and one very colicky husband.
Especially you, Supermom. You'll release endorphins and have more energy.
I remember having energy.
Start feeling fit-tacular today. Join in club or at planetfitness.com. Zero enrollment, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends February 2nd. See club for details.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Donner for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the twos and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Preds fans, this Thursday, join us at the grand opening of the Blood Assurance in Hermitage on Lebanon Pike. You can register to win tickets to the Predators outdoor stadium game. Plus, one lucky winner will receive a Preds stadium game jersey. See you this Thursday at Blood Assurance in Hermitage.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, with Stillman and Company.
Surprise, surprise!
I write down what was good, what was bad.
Afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Jason Fitz, ESPN Radio in 30 minutes. I texted Fitzy, and I sent him the kind of news of the day that we've had on the program.
The tea.
And I'm like, this is what we're talking about. FYI. So just to reset it for everybody out there, Aaron Rodgers, multiple sources have confirmed to us that Aaron Rodgers is building a home in Williamson County. Another source tells us Aaron Rodgers is open, quote unquote open, to joining the Titans. And another source tells us that Aaron's Green Bay teammates, not all of them, but at least some of them, believe that Aaron is not going back to the Packers. And it's weird because Titan fans are tweeting like, don't give me hope on this, Jared. Don't this. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing anything other than just telling you what the news is. That's all I'm saying.
You are giving them a little bit of hope.
I mean, honestly, after John Robinson
Maybe not directly, but
after John Robinson crushed all of our hope yesterday, it was nice to know this today. Although I already knew this yesterday, so honestly, hearing the Robinson news of the defensive Tannehill kind of crushed me a little bit inside.
But does this change John Robinson's mind?
I mean, surely he knows if I know, right?
But he's the one who said yesterday
I
fully endorsed Ryan Tannehill.
I asked somebody this last night. I said, do you think the Titans know how much I love the Titans? And they said no. They were like, no. I don't think the Titans know how much you love the Titans.
Well, to be fair, you do give them a good bit of flack daily.
Well, I give them credit where credit is due. I give them flack when they do dumb things like trade for Julio Jones, which I begged them and told them not to do.
Which they probably don't appreciate.
But that's my job.
Okay, well.
Here's my thing.
It's not their job to know that you like the Titans.
I agree. It's all what's in the best interest of the franchise. That's all I say. The Robinson, and this was a thing that I think was kind of tough for me, but the Robinson quotes yesterday, there was one thing in there that nobody else who has defended Tannehill will do, which is actually talk about a football element. We just had Chris Sanders on, and everything in his defense of Tannehill was, he fights for this team, and he's a leader, and you saw how mad he was walking off the field. And the thing I sent you and Ian last night, that Kevin Byard clip of Byard being like, you guys don't understand. He stayed in the locker room and was upset after they lost, and Chris is like, yes, that's what we need, Jared, is a guy who is upset when he goes out there and single-handedly costs his team the game. Yes. And I'm like,
isn't that how you should react?
So was Al Del Greco a bad teammate? Like, Al Del Greco missed 4 kicks in the Ravens playoff game. Never kicked again in the NFL. I bet Al Del Greco, he's a fine guy. And he was a great kicker for the Oilers and the Titans for years and years and years. And then he totally went kaput and done for the NFL. And I'd like to know how Chris Sanders felt then when they moved on from Al Del Greco. And I'd like to know how all those guys felt then, because he cost them that game. It's like, where are the tangible elements? At least Robinson, and while I vehemently disagree with this when it comes to Tannehill, he said, the same things that we've heard from everybody. I think Ryan's a leader. I think Ryan is tough. I think Ryan has made a lot of great plays for us. Okay, so that's just kind of generic, whatever. Mm-hmm. He is our quarterback. Big statement right there.
Definitive.
I don't know that there is a quarterback who stands in the pocket and looks down the barrel of a blitz and throws the ball as good as he does. At least, even though I disagree with it, at least that's football. At least there's a football thing there with Tannehill. I'm going to tell you what the defense of Tannehill should be. But the Titans can't say this. The only defense I can come up with for Tannehill is that they either built him a poor roster on offense, which I think is probably true. No real right tackle, although Quessenberry wasn't a liability at right tackle. He certainly was not a starting right tackle. No answer at tight end. Julio Jones was a complete disappointment. So either you built him a bad roster with the flawed idea that Julio would come in here and produce, which he did not, and I have no expectation for Julio producing next year, or the coaching's bad, which the Titans are not willing to admit because they're bringing back the coordinator, they're bringing back the quarterback coach, they're bringing back the running back coach and the tight ends coach and the wide receivers coach and the offensive line coach, so they're bringing all the coaching back. But there's no real defense of Tannehill that has to do with football stuff. So to me, the defense of Tannehill is that if you get him good coaching, or if you build the roster around him accordingly, which you may not be able to do because you pay him too much money, but if you're able to do that, then he at times can be an efficient and confident passer. And he's athletic. He can run around. That's a nice thing to have. He's not a statue back there in the pocket. He's got a decent arm. He doesn't have a great arm. He never had a great arm. He's got a decent arm. But that's all I got for you. Because everything else is, okay, well, but. There's nothing that you can point to other than his 2019 quarterback rating and say, hey, this is the defense of Tannehill. It's all non-tangible, things that make you feel good.
Tough.
Right.
Good leader.
Steve McNair was tough.
Which I don't doubt that he's both of those things.
But, again, when we talk about Peyton Manning, we don't talk about that. We talk about
his leadership?
No, but we talk about the fact that Peyton literally knew the defensive play when he got to the line of scrimmage. We talked about the fact that Peyton set touchdown records. The fact that Peyton Manning put 3 guys in the Hall of Fame himself. You think Edgerrin James is a Hall of Famer if it's not for Peyton Manning? We talk about Brady. We talk about the fact that the guy went to 10 Super Bowls in 20 years as a quarterback. He won 7 championships. You talk about the fact that at 44 years old, he led the NFL in passing. He finished second in the MVP voting. Those are tangible things. And with Tannehill, you got 1 Pro Bowl and the 2019 Comeback Player of the Year. But the rest, it's good leader, tough, yes. And I go back to the Tannenbaum interview with the Tannehill Stockholm syndrome, which is these people that are around him. He honestly must be the greatest guy in the whole world. Like, if I ever get to know Tannehill at some point on like a, different level than this, I'll bet you I'll be like, I can't believe I thought you couldn't take the Titans to the promised land, Ryan. You just are the greatest guy in the whole world, because everybody who's around him literally just freaking loves the guy. I mean, he is like Santa Claus at the mall. And every single player, offense, defense, coach, GMs, they can't wait to sit on his lap. They love him. But the reality is, it's all like non-tangible things that you have to use to convince me that I should like a guy when I'm watching the game. And I'm like, he's staring. He is playing a second-year quarterback who has been sacked 9 times and who's so cool and calm and silky and puts the ball right there. And he is staring down a receiver on the first play of the game. You got the Bengals players. You saw the video last week where they were sitting there on the sidelines and they were like, oh, yeah, he's going to throw it again. I'm going to pick it this time. Oh, my God.
And there were a lot of people coming to Tannehill's defense of like, you think this is the first defensive back who's ever said, oh, he's going to throw it, I'm going to pick him off. No, I don't, because I probably think that defensive backs say all that all the time. But it just aligns with the narrative of Ryan Tannehill that it's that he is so predictable.
Bart Winkler of the Bart Winkler Show in Milwaukee. Bart Winkler has tweeted me with my little video about how Rodgers bought a house here and said, this is already so tiring. People are so shameless and will report anything as news. Welcome back to last year's offseason, but already somehow dumber. I mean, look.
Wow.
I'll say this. That's Milwaukee. Nashville's a bigger market. We're Nashville. I talked to my people in Boston, and I was asking them, I was like, hey, what do you think about, and they said, oh, yeah. And I told them how many different people had told me, what we knew. And I said, would you guys talk about it? And he said, oh, dude, we get a whole week out of that. We do that for a whole week. So I'm not going to have like the Milwaukee and the Wisconsin media being like, oh, God, this isn't news. I've told you what it means. It doesn't mean that the Titans are getting Aaron Rodgers. Your thoughts after these words. 615-737-1025. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game. Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Want the same internet but more privacy? DuckDuckGo's got you covered. They help millions of people like you get privacy online without any trade-offs. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's link belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at ParmanTractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it, but in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Music City. Start a profitable new chapter of your life and be your own boss with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. In fact, no matter where you are, from Green Hills to the Gulch to down in Franklin, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com. And then make that call.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7, with supplies and solutions for every industry, and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Too many signals out here that the harmony is never perfect in Green Bay. What's your guess happens?
I mean, all it is, Colin, is a guess. And I want to underline that in very bold Sharpie, okay? But my guess is that he's playing for Denver at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And look, you know, Denver has everything that Aaron Rodgers needs right now. Denver has cap room. They've got a coach who's going to cater to what he does best. They've got a very good left tackle, and they're going to have weapons on offense, even if they have to trade one of the weapons to Green Bay in order to get them.
There you go. That was Peter King on Colin Cowherd. I mean, like, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be the next quarterback of the Titans.
If I had to put my money on it, I would say no.
But it is interesting that if you build a house somewhere, isn't there a chance that you want to live in that house?
Yes, and we have acknowledged the fact that it's a very desirable place to live. It's a very nice place to live, especially when he has homes in California, and we have learned that there are certain regulations in California that Aaron Rodgers does not necessarily support that are not here. We understand that there are gaps in this story. We understand that this is all just gossip, but it's fun and it's interesting.
It's our gossip.
It's our gossip.
And it's real.
Interesting
and
to put the dots together.
I got to tell you, we got now on Twitter, we've got meteorologists in Milwaukee that are tweeting us about, I heard.
What's the weather like up there?
I am not reporting that Aaron Rodgers is going to the Titans. I also love like the Green Bay media that's super defensive about this. Like, dudes, he ain't coming back. Or at least I don't think he's coming back.
But we also said that last year.
No, not us.
No, I'm not us, but I'm saying the general public didn't think that Aaron Rodgers was going to go back to Green Bay.
Bay was dug in, I'm like, they're going to make Aaron retire. I think Aaron was banking on Jeopardy to get him out of it. That he was banking on Jeopardy to give him that job so that he could then leverage it against the Packers. As like, hey, I actually will retire. And the Packers are like, okay, fine, retire. We don't care. Here's the problem. I was listening to this about Tampa Bay, and I promise your phones because it said phones. But Tampa Bay, if Brady wanted to pull a Brett Favre, like a power play, and go to a different team, all he has to do is wait until Tampa Bay gets quarterback figured out and then announce that he's unretiring. And then Tampa Bay would have like 48 hours to get Brady moved in order to get the salary cap right. And once they did that, if they didn't do that, then Brady would go against Tampa Bay's cap, and they'd have to do something about it. And that's how you can force somebody into doing something you don't want to do. So the players do technically have leverage. Gronk did this to the Patriots when he decided to come back and go play at Tampa. Adam is in Portland. He's up next. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Adam.
That might be the best segment you've had. The past one might be the best segment you've had in like 4 months.
Why is that?
Because it's actually sounded logical. Just do this for me, all right? Just imagine before we signed Julio, when they let Corey Davis walk and they let Jonnu walk, I was sitting there looking all over that offense, and I'm like, so we got Tannehill, AJ, and Henry. What else do we have? We got young people, some dude who I guess come over here from the Rams and was supposed to be all right. That offense looked so bad. I was so worried about it. And then Julio, you're like, well, if he's good, then I guess we could be okay. and he never showed up. So we were back to the same thing. And we even lost the piece from the Rams. So what was Ryan Tannehill playing with really, dude? Like, I get it. And I told Ian, as long as you're going to be talking about it, I'm going to be calling your show. That's why I'm calling so much. Because I'm going to jump on what else do we do? How do we fix it? There's no
Didn't you want to get rid of Tannehill after the Bengals loss?
I was mad, just like you were mad. But when you step back and you go, okay, as a fan, do I want to see the Titans look like Locker's Titans? After whatever quarterback you decide to come in here gets done, because that's what's going to happen, man. And
Adam, I love you, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your call. Isn't this kind of like how toxic relationships develop?
And that's kind of what I was thinking, is like, if you ever had a friend that had like a terrible ex and now there was someone new who like doesn't have a job and is kind of a deadbeat but is nice to them, it's like, just because they're better than the one that cheated on you doesn't mean that they're the one.
See, I think it's different. I feel like it's like the relationship where your friend is dating somebody that is just awful. And, and they're like, this is it. I am finally done with them.
And then they bring you flowers, and it's like, well.
And then like 2 days later, they're like, yeah, so he actually promised that he wouldn't do this anymore, and now we're back together.
We just needed some time apart to breathe.
And every time you hear that, you're like, oh God. And then after a while, you just block it out. That's Adam. After the game, he was done with Tannehill. Now he's let the excuses and the toughness and he was sad about the game cloud his judgment, and now he's changed his mind.
I also love our daily report cards from Adam. Like, this was a good day and this was a bad day.
Yeah. What do we have in the text line?
One texter texts in the text line and says, Aaron Rodgers would not be building a house here because he has some remote chance of joining the Titans. He apparently wants a house here regardless if he plays for the Titans. It would take a king's ransom for the Titans to trade for Aaron Rodgers. I agree with this texter and the fact that he may just be building a house here because he wants to live here. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be the quarterback for the Titans.
The fiancé and Reese Witherspoon are buds?
Yes. They may just want a house here. But I don't think it's going to take a king's ransom for the Titans to get Aaron Rodgers. It's going to take a lot, but I don't think it's some astronomical number that seems impossible.
So the way that this works in like Major League Baseball, for example, when a player from Japan wants to come over here, like Ichiro, when a player from Japan wants to come over here, the Japanese team posts the player. And then the major league clubs submit bids as to how much they're willing to pay the Japanese team in order to have the rights to negotiate with the Japanese player. So, for example, if the Cebu Lions post, whomever, and the Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, Angels, and Dodgers all submit a bid, not knowing what the other bids are going to be, then they take the most money, and it's like, all right, Dodgers with $55 million, here's the player. Now you guys get to negotiate a contract. That's not how this works in either the Russell or the Aaron scenario. The way that it works is Russell and Aaron get a say in this. And so if Aaron, just like Stafford, had a say in it with the Rams, if Aaron says, I want to go to the Titans, and as we have reported, he is, quote, open to the idea of joining the Titans, then Green Bay would love for Aaron to be open to Denver and for Aaron to be open to the Titans, and Green Bay would love for both the Titans and Denver to be open there, and then you can leverage it, and then you've got to give more. I think Aaron has a no-trade clause. I know Russell has a no-trade clause. So let's use Russell where we know for sure it's a no-trade clause. If Russell says, I'm only going to Tennessee, well, now you can't get 4 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks because Tennessee is they're not bidding against anybody.
There's no market.
There's no market if Russell's not willing to go anywhere else. So I understand the idea of like, yeah, Rodgers, what was the Tim Hasselbeck clip we played where Tim Hasselbeck's like, oh, yeah, I mean, nobody has the firepower. If Stafford went for 2 1s, nobody has the firepower for Rodgers. Well, it's all relative. That's why the best time to buy is in a fire sale, because that person has to sell. Now, that being said, I do think that buying Aaron Rodgers is going to be incredibly costly.
Yes.
Like, there's no doubt. It's costing you your one this year, your one next year, Tannehill, and probably something else.
And let's say it does come down to the Titans and the Broncos. I mean, Denver's already gotten pretty all in on getting Aaron Rodgers.
They've got the coach.
And hiring their head coach.
They've got the coach. Now, here's another thought. Like Vrabel, like Aaron played against Vrabel. Maybe Aaron rather go with Vrabel than Hackett. Maybe it's
I don't know what
the Titans
Rodgers
run.
wants.
The Titans run what Green Bay runs offensively, so that's not the end of the world. Boy, I don't think see how he loves Todd Downing. What else we got?
Another texter says, in regards to your point about the Rams did it with Matthew Stafford,
Sure.
the Titans could do it with a new quarterback as well. CC texts in and says, Matthew Stafford was not the only player the Rams got. They got Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller. Of course, in your world of fantasy land, Matthew Stafford is the only player that made the difference.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford made the difference. That's why they're there. Because they have Matthew Stafford. And I get it. Hey, Odell Beckham, Odell had a good NFC Championship game. But the Rams weren't a bad team before they got Odell Beckham. Like, the Rams were considered a Super Bowl favorite or a Super Bowl contender, I shouldn't say favorite, when they got Odell Beckham. And here's the thing about the quarterback
That's why
position.
he went to the Rams, because he wanted to compete for a Super Bowl.
Tampa Bay is not about Chris Godwin and AB. It's about Brady. Because when those guys got hurt, Brady came all the way back against the Rams, throwing the ball to Cyril Grayson. And yes, he needed Mike Evans' help, but Brady got all the way back in that game without AB and got all the way back in that game without Chris Godwin. At the end of the day,
Matthew Stafford's no Tom Brady.
No, but we're talking about upgrading quarterback. Titans have a fine enough team if they upgrade quarterback. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. By the way, nobody talks about Trey Hendrickson and how important he was to the Bengals. It's always about Joe Burrow. But Trey Hendrickson is a huge part of what the Bengals have
and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
But it's all about the quarterback. Fitz is going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on this and everything else. That's next. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I love Hiller. I let them take great care of my home, and I promise you that they can do the exact same for you. My friends at Hiller have extended their lower 2021 pricing through January to help customers tackle necessary replacements. There was so much demand in January that they are now extending the special pricing one more month. This will be the lowest pricing expected all year. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves, and now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are all going to be extremely limited this year. And because of supply issues and rising costs of parts, manufacturers are rapidly increasing the price of this equipment. If you need a replacement, call my friends at Hiller today. Do not wait until you're out of options. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be Your Services free guarantee, and you can learn more at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Nashville Predators, the Tennessee Volunteers, and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Hiller, call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hi, I'm Jussi Saros. And this is Smashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by Jussi Saros there.
Unreal. You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Stillman & Company, delivered by TriStar Moving. Let me tell all the fine folks out there. ESPN 102.5 The Game is Nashville's official home of NASCAR. Tune in Sunday, February 6th at 1:30 for the inaugural Busch Clash at the LA Coliseum. Also get set for the race with Chasing Checkers every Sunday at 8 a.m. Woo! Let's go NASCAR. So, excited about that. Again, the gossip of du jour. Fair to say?
Fair.
The gossip of the day today, we have had multiple sources confirm to us that Aaron Rodgers is buying a home in Williamson County. That is confirmed. We have had a source tell us he is, quote, open to playing for the Titans. And a Packers teammate, or Packers teammates, not all of them, but some, believe that Aaron is not going back to Green Bay under any circumstances. Secondly, the Titans, yesterday, John Robinson, the general manager, came out and defended Ryan Tannehill and said he is their quarterback. Jason Fitz joins us now, ESPN Radio, presented by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. Fitzy, what do you think of the tea today surrounding Aaron Rodgers and his move to Nashville?
Well, I think at the beginning, I would say this. This is just the beginning of the tea, and there's going to be plenty of it for plenty of franchises. But I did at least text a few people that I trust that I think have a pretty good knowledge of Aaron or of the Titans and tried to get a feel, this afternoon of what's real and what's not real. And the answer that I get from everybody is the same, basically, that Aaron Rodgers is looking at every opportunity and every single option. So if you are a team that has the chance to go out and win a Super Bowl, you're on his radar. So would that be the Titans? I think in that sense, it makes sense. But as we talked about last week, now you have the difficult proposition of trying to figure out how you're going to get rid of Ryan Tannehill. And if the thought is that it's a simple 1-for-1, because the numbers would actually make some of that trade easier, although the Packers are in sort of salary cap hell. The other thing I'd say is that I'm not sure it's a great sales pitch for everybody that says, well, Tannehill lost the AFC the playoff game, the divisional round game for the Titans. Well, yeah, that's also part of the sales pitch that makes it difficult for the Packers. So, I don't think unloading Tannehill is particularly easy, but I do think that Aaron Rodgers is going to look at every opportunity, and if that's real, then you have an obligation for the Titans to make your picks to Aaron Rodgers. It's a perfect fit. Like, you better be ready to win right now if you're picking up Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I almost feel like Tannehill's included in the deal to Green Bay no matter what. Regardless of what their plans for him would be. I mean, if for no other reason, wouldn't you want him on the roster as insurance for Jordan Love? And I'm not saying, I know I dump on Tannehill a lot right now. My thing with Tannehill is you just can't win a Super Bowl with the guy. But he's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick or Jameis Winston or some of these other guys that are going to be out there. And I almost feel like with Green Bay, Tannehill's part of it. You're probably looking, this is what I would think. If Rodgers wanted to come here, 2 1s, Tannehill, and another piece. And that would probably be what Green Bay would want.
Well, we're all presuming that the Packers don't believe in Jordan Love. And I would say this, that might be the case. But my God, then there should be accountability to that too, because they did decide to take him in the first round, right? So at some point he should get an opportunity to play. The problem is right now, according to Over the Cap, the Packers are $50 million over the cap. And I realize that unloading Aaron Rodgers is going to be part of that. But if they're unloading Aaron Rodgers, I still think that they're going to make every effort to bring in Devontae and to keep Devontae. And if they have to keep Devontae on a franchise tag, which may be the only way they can keep him, they're going to have to absorb a number for Devontae Devontae Adams could be upwards of 18, 19 million just to franchise him. Reports are that he wants 30 million wherever he signs. So, great. I also want to be able to dunk a basketball, so I don't think we're going to have that and see that. But the Packers salary cap situation makes taking Tannehill difficult to me.
So I'll worry about all that later because I don't think the Titans are interested. I think the Titans believe in Ryan Tannehill. And way more than I believe in Ryan Tannehill. We had Mike Tannenbaum on the show Friday. And I mean, it was like, hey, great player had a bad day. And I asked him the question, what do you think of Titan fans that are tired of losing in the playoffs? And he was like, well, hey, it could be worse. You guys were the 1 seed. Great general manager, great coach, great quarterback. It's great. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure Mike was going on the radio in New York when he was GM telling those people there. But people here in Nashville are a little bit nicer and believe some of that stuff. But then John Robinson comes out and says, he's our quarterback. Nobody throws the ball better staring down the barrel of a blitz than Ryan Tannehill. Fitz, I think there's a chance they actually believe this stuff. I think there's a chance that the people that are around Tannehill are like beholden to him, like Stockholm Syndrome, and love him. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, but I also think that part of that is when you're dug in the situation that they're dug into. How many times I go back to my music business experience? How many times did somebody just throw a single on you that you're like, I don't want to release this thing, but then you realize it's your next single, and before you know it, you're in love with it whether you want to be or not because you have to be. So, the easy thing for Tannehill is that if you can squeeze one more year of juice out of the lemon, well, then they've got an easy out in the contract. So everybody around it, and I realize that year could be the last year that the window's open, but you got to look at it and say, man, if we could just not get that version of Ryan Tannehill, do we have enough where we can win a game? And if we can just win, a playoff game, then maybe people calm down about it. It's a much easier situation next year. So if I'm in the organization, I am looking at it. I go back to a GM that told me several years ago that most teams scout quarterback in 2-year increments. So you're looking at this year's class and next year's class. If you start looking at next year's class in the draft, there's a bunch of quarterbacks that are out there worth taking. So it's almost like, can I hang on for dear life for one more season, figure out if I can make the Tannehill thing work? And I wonder if that clouds the vision of people in the room because they know they're dug into the situation they're dug into.
I think I'm a little torn. I mean, if I owned the team and John Robinson came to me and gave me that line, I'd be like, okay, well, then I'm going to fire you. Because if you've got this team and you're not thinking about how to win the Super Bowl next year, I'm not interested in what you have to tell me. I feel like the Titans team is at a point where every move they should make should have the word Super Bowl involved in it. The words Super Bowl involved in it. And I think that, honestly, they think what you just told me, which is, can we get by for another year and win some regular season games with Tannehill? Yeah, I think we can. And I do think that's the route that they're trying to go.
Yeah, well, and the route you're talking about is a route, that we're watching the Rams live out right now. I mean, they've mortgaged their entire future to try and win a Super Bowl today. And if they don't win a Super Bowl, this will all have been an epic failure and a bunch of people will get fired. But I also think everybody involved in the process of that, of the way they've decided to do business, also has enough confidence in, where they are, where they're going, and what they're doing next. And it's kind of like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try and win the Super Bowl right now while we have the window. I think there's a lot of logic to that mindset because, frankly, it's so difficult to keep these windows open. Why not? If we don't know. Everybody every year is going to tell us that this is the year that Derrick Henry, the wheels fall off on it. I'm not going to buy that till I see it. But, you could look at it and say the pieces are all in place. And if you can look at the entire roster like we're playing Madden and say, okay, what would I do if I was playing franchise mode and I didn't care about next year? That's what the Rams have been doing in real football, and we've seen it work right now. So not just in the offseason, but even during the season when they traded assets for Von Miller, and for 2 weeks people tried to say, the Broncos pulled one over on them, and now we're like, oh, no, the Rams actually knew what they were doing. So, the Rams have done exactly what you're talking about. If they win a Super Bowl, it's brilliant. If they don't, then at least they've tried to maximize their window. I can see that for sure.
Do you think, as a media guy, Jason Fitz is our guest, that if Robinson says he's our quarterback today, and it doesn't do like the Rams did last year, which is, oh, yeah, Jared's our quarterback right now, but if they do that, he is our quarterback, and then they move on from him, that will actually have a negative impact on Robinson? Or do you just think that that's what any general manager would have said?
I think John Robinson, because there's less profile on the Titans so often, has the opportunity to just kind of play the game however he wants to play it. Like, I don't think he would be nationally victimized for either side of it. If he said he's our guy and then he isn't, or if he said he's not our guy and they stuck with him, I think people have a different level of compassion and understanding to being human beings in a front office for teams like the Titans than they do for teams like the Cowboys and the Giants, just because they get covered differently. And that's one of the benefits you have in the market. Like, I think it's insane. And like, realistically, if the sticker was different on the helmet and all of a sudden it was the Cowboys we were talking about, it was a team that everybody is obsessed with nationally, would there be the same level of patience with Robinson and Vrabel as there will be going into the next season? The answer to that is hell no, but it allows them to approach this entire situation differently, right or wrong.
Jason Fitz, ESPN Radio, last one for you. Do you think that the Titans, if I know that Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Williamson County, do you think the Titans know that, and do you think the Titans care?
Yes and no. I think they know that, and I don't think they care. Look, where you build a house is such a small part of everything now.
Especially when you have as much money as he has.
Yeah, and by the way, last time I checked, buying real estate in Nashville, even though it's like, for those of us that have lived here since the 90s, we're like, wait, that costs how much? But people outside still look at it and say, what a great investment. Like, I'll buy property in Nashville, and then, I can churn it and burn it if I want to. So, like, it's a smart real estate investment. I'm guessing that Aaron Rodgers has the type of portfolio that I thought was only in the movies. And if you're doing that type of portfolio, you just add a little Nashville real estate. Like, I think there's other variables to that, but I don't think that's going to matter at all. But I will say this. If John Robinson and Mike Vrabel think that there's any chance, they owe it to themselves. If they can look at it and say, hey, we can get Aaron Rodgers. My only beef with acquiring Aaron Rodgers is you better be ready to win right now, because you are going all in on the Super Bowl for the next 2 years max, right? The Titans are that sort of roster. So if they think that there's a real shot he's interested in playing here, then they do owe it to the organization, the fans, and themselves to do whatever it takes. Blow up the way you thought you were doing business. Go out and see if that interest is real from the Packers.
There you go. Jason Fitz, presented by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. Appreciate you, Fitz.
You're the best, brother. Have a great week.
Yep, Jason Fitz joining us on the program. Hey, Preds fans, tomorrow join us at the grand opening of Blood Assurance in Hermitage on Lebanon Pike. You can register to win tickets to the Preds Stadium Series game, plus one lucky winner will receive a Predators Stadium Series jersey. See you tomorrow at Blood Assurance in Hermitage. I do have some thought. We haven't really spent a lot of time on this because it happened while we were on the air yesterday, and then we have the Aaron Rodgers news today. But this Brian Flores situation is wild. But I got a couple of thoughts on it. I want to get to that next. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
On Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus, isolated flooding possible tonight into tomorrow as rain showers continue in our forecast. After sunset tomorrow, that rain has the potential to change itself over into freezing rain, leading to slick roads on Friday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Want the same internet but more privacy? DuckDuckGo's got you covered. They help millions of people like you get privacy online without any trade-offs. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 sofas, sectionals, and mattresses are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery. All furniture at Social is top quality solid woods and designer fabrics. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Buy local, support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
At Copper Branch, they live life to the fullest. Food is your energy and your life. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, their goal is to serve you, your friends, and family quality, great-tasting, plant-based power foods. Visit Copper Branch at 601 Church Street for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with convenient and validated parking during library hours, and download their app for curbside pickup. Or come out for songwriter and live music nights several times throughout the week to empower, energize, and feel your best. Visit Copper Branch today.
Beach Bar Rum, Santo, and Sammy's Beach Bar Cocktails present Sammy Hagar in the Circle. March 8th, Ryman Auditorium. Sammy, Michael, Vic, Jason. Tickets on sale this Thursday at 10 a.m. Buy tickets at Ryman.com. Sammy Hagar in the Circle. Sponsored by PNC Bank and Access. Proud partners of Ryman Auditorium.
Darren McFarland.
A lot of dots to connect there, a lot of storylines.
Willie Donick.
Be careful what you wish for.
And Chase McCabe.
Yes, because it's my favorite.
Get through your workday with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Weekdays 10 to 2.
Great three-man band, live, fired up. Let's go.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I think they would love to see that.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope.
When you see that, click on it.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
You're listening to Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
That was a conversation about not doing as much as we needed to do to win football games. Take a flight, go on vacation. I'll give you $100,000 per loss. Like, those are just the exact words. And it's not something. Look, I deal in truth, and I say that to the players as well. I'm going to give you, good news, bad news, but it's going to be the truth. It's going to be honest.
So that was Brian Flores, the old coach of the Dolphins. So after we got off the air, we kind of touched on this a little bit yesterday, but after we got off air, I was sitting there at the Patron Club at Bridgestone Arena, and I was literally just reading this lawsuit. And there are some doozies in there.
Yeah.
Now, again, the crux of the lawsuit is they want to improve the hiring of minorities as head coaches in the NFL, which is a totally valiant cause, and we do not have enough black coaches in the NFL. 1 out of 32 or whatever it is not good enough. Like, that's embarrassing. The Belichick texts were some straight tea. I mean, that was wow. The fact that Bill could screw that up and get himself dragged into this. And in all seriousness, I kind of feel bad for Belichick. Like,
why?
Because, he's trying to help his buddy Dable get a job, and he probably helped Flores get the Dolphins job. Flores is one of his guys too. Makes a mistake texting, and now gets completely thrown under the bus for it.
But is he the one getting thrown under the bus?
Yes.
I think there are a lot of other people that are getting thrown under the bus more than Belichick is.
You know what I can't get over? There's 2 things I can't get over in this. Number 1, $100,000 for a loss.
That is astronomical.
Now, this has to be, there has to be a way to prove it, other than to just say, the owner just said in passing $100,000, because if there's no way to prove it, then it's just an allegation. If there's any way that proves this allegation's true, the guy in Miami's going to have to sell his team. Like, they're going to have to kick him out of the NFL. Like, there are just certain lines you can't cross. That's one of them.
Hugh Jackson said the same thing.
Yeah, Hugh Jackson said he was getting paid to lose games in Cleveland.
Yeah.
You start doing that, then you literally are pro wrestling. Everything that you like about the NFL is now gone. And so, the league, they have to defend themselves in this lawsuit, but at the same time, everybody's going to have these questions about the Dolphins, and everybody's going to have these allegations. And again, the owner's going to deny it until there's a way to prove it. And I feel like if there was a way to prove it, like the Belichick text messages, then Brian Flores would have in there like, hey, here's the note, or here's the text message,
text
or here's the
email or bank statements
that the owner sent in there for me to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So let's remember that it's an allegation, but a pretty damning one. Like, that is get you kicked out of the NFL for forever. Can I just say, as somebody who feels like their football team is put into the Ryan Tannehill pit of purgatory, that at least I understand the Dolphins owner. The 2 claims against him. 1, $100,000 for a loss because they wanted to lose so badly so they could get the number 1 pick. And if they did do that, and they did get the number 1 pick, who would be their quarterback right now?
Joe Burrow.
And how good would their team be with Joe Burrow at quarterback?
Probably in the Super Bowl.
Okay. They're right there with Buffalo in that division if Joe Burrow's that quarterback. Because they've got a solid team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The second part of that, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. The Dolphins owner is accused of tampering because he wanted Flores to meet on his yacht and then have a prominent quarterback who was scheduled to be a free agent also at the same marina at the same time, and Flores refused to tamper. We guess that is Brady. This dude was like, I am so tired of Ryan Tannehill and where Ryan Tannehill can get me that I'm willing to lose and pay $100,000 to go get Joe Burrow for every loss, or I'm trying to woo Tom Brady. I can understand it.
Been there.
I get it. That is best for your football team, is to lose those games and do that. I do wonder if this is going to force the NFL into a draft lottery. Baseball's already talking about it because tanking is so prevalent in that sport. Basketball does it because of tanking. I mean, could you imagine if you were 1-16 and you ended up with the 4th pick in the draft? In a good quarterback draft.
But does the NFL want that?
No,
I understand that the NFL
but
does
they may
not
not have
want
a choice
tampering
now.
and does not want tanking.
But they may not have a choice now. I mean, they may not have a choice. The other side of it, the other question I have is this. Will more black coaches be hired because of this? And honestly, I think the answer is yes. Because the NFL will do everything in their power to not have this go to trial. Just like with your city, St. Louis, how they paid out, what was it, like $780 million or whatever?
A ridiculous amount of money.
Because they didn't want it to go to discovery. Because once it goes to discovery, books get open. And all of a sudden, where they have to split the revenue with the players, and it's like, oh, is that, private jet that the owner takes all around wherever they want to go, which is a business expense and takes away from the revenue of the sport, is that really a business expense? Is it really? Or you look at the business expenses of a team that owns, and it's like, oh yeah, how much money is Barclay Cunningham Adams getting that owns the Titans to be chief, whatever, senior executive vice? And I'm not saying the Titans do this. I'm just saying they do it in the NFL. The NFL is shady business now. And the last thing they want is opening up the shady business. And this may get them to do that. If Flores is so hell-bent on taking this to court that he is truly willing to sacrifice the money that the league's going to offer, because they're going to offer a lot of money to make this go away. If he's willing to forgo that and his career, which he said he is, if he's willing to give up on that in order to get this thing to discovery, it could totally transform the league. And then I think the only way the NFL gets this from going to discovery is if they basically make a pledge to go hire more black coaches and then do it. But then you're talking about quotas, right? Then it's like, retires, and now you're looking for a coach, and you really like somebody who's not a black coach, but the league's like, no, we have to have 6 black coaches, so you have to hire one. That opens up a whole nother can of worms. And I'm not smart enough to figure any of this stuff out. But there is some tea here.
Oh, there's some absolute tea, and I think the unfortunate thing is it's just uncovering what we probably deep down knew existed, but just didn't have tangible evidence of.
Sure.
And there are a lot of shady things going on here, like the NFL releasing a statement like an hour after Brian Flores released all of these things and said it has no merit. How do you know it has no merit?
Well, that's what everybody always says.
But how do you know?
But that's what everybody always says in defending a lawsuit is, this is without merit and we will defend our client and we look forward to our day in court. They always say that.
But
they said the same thing about St. Louis, which had tons of merit.
Kroenke wanted that
baby out of St. Louis.
But if they really wanted to change things in the NFL, they wouldn't say it has no merit. They wouldn't vehemently deny whatever is going on, even it does not exist.
Well, again, this is like court leverage. Like, they're not going to come out and say, well, they're kind of right,
No, I'm not saying that they would admit to anything. It's just, how do they know an hour after all these released that it has no legs to it?
This is the hard part. The NFL is going to have to launch an investigation on the Dolphins, but they can't launch an investigation on the Dolphins while defending themselves and the Dolphins.
Yes.
But they're going to have to. You can't have this idea that the owner tried to pay $100,000 to lose.
No.
Even though we know that tanking's real.
It is absolutely real.
Like when the Buccaneers...
I didn't think that it was pay your coach to lose real, but we joke about it all the time. And tanking for Tua, tanking for Trevor, it's a real thing.
Sure, tearing your team down. So, like, Jacksonville... So, to me, there's a difference between tearing your team down and building for the future and telling players, hey, I want you to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you go out there and you say, all right, here's what I want to do. Like, let's say the Titans just decide to tear it down. So you trade Henry, and you trade Tannehill, and you trade AJ, and you trade Simmons, and you'll get about, 7 first-round picks out of that and 10 second-round picks, and you'll get all these picks, and then you can develop your team and you can turn it into whatever you want it to be, which is what the Dolphins have done. Now, they haven't hit on a lot of these picks, but that is kind of what the Dolphins have done. I'm fine with that. Like in baseball, the Braves traded off a bunch of guys, and they were horrible, and they were playing minor league guys like the Sounds could have beat them. But those players that they got ultimately are a part, like Dansby Swanson or Max Fried, are a part of their World Series championship. So I understand it. Like, you're going to lose when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally different to go out there and say, hey, I want nothing but fastballs down the middle, and I want it batting practice out there. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
That is trying to force a result. And if the owner is trying to pay $100,000 for his team to lose, like, that may get somebody sent to jail. Maybe him. Like, that's how big.
On what grounds?
People bet on the NFL. You throw games, you go to jail.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, like, that's. Because you can get people killed doing that. So, I mean, look. There's some tea here. I have no idea how this is going to play out. I have no idea what I want to see from it. I am not yet ready to champion Brian Flores as a hero right now. I think, again, let's see where this goes. Belichick, what a screw-up. I mean, seriously. What a screw-up on Belichick's part.
It was a screw-up, but I'm not putting this on Belichick.
We've all done stuff like this.
I'm not. I think Belichick is such a small part of this entire story.
I know, but he's the star, and he makes it obvious that the Giants interviewing Flores was bullcrap.
But also, I'm not putting that on Belichick. I'm putting that on the Giants. That's not Belichick's fault.
Okay, but he let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, he did.
And so...
Then don't have a cat in your bag.
I can only imagine what Floyd would have thought. Joe Rexroad will join us for Jared versus Joe. We'll reset the Aaron Rodgers news, and we'll do that next. Stillman and Company at ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Take us wherever you may go.
There are 2 guys on my untouchable list.
Tune us in anywhere, anytime.
Every team's got those. That's my point.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
Now through February 2nd, join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness for zero enrollment and only $10 a month. With tons of equipment and free fitness training, it's the perfect place for everybody to work out.
Even me, mother of very fussy triplets and one very colicky husband.
Especially you, Supermom. You'll release endorphins and have more energy.
I remember having energy.
Start feeling fit-tacular today. Join in club or at planetfitness.com. Zero enrollment, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends February 2nd. See club for details.
My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven.
But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Greenprint, financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at regions.com/Greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
Signs First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 1025 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
NASCAR is back. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Superspeedway a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the offices of Amanda Gentry, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. We've had a fun day today so far.
It has been fun.
Very eventful. A lot of, as you would say,
tea.
Tea.
And it is piping hot.
A lot of tea today. The news today, Aaron Rodgers. Multiple sources have confirmed that Aaron Rodgers has purchased a home in Williamson County, has purchased a plot of land. He is building his home in Williamson County. Another source told me Aaron would be, quote, open to playing for the Titans. And a third source has indicated that his Packer teammates, not all of them, but some of his Packer teammates do not expect him to return to Green Bay under any circumstances. Joe Rexroad is with us for Jared versus Joe. Joe, welcome to the Gossip Layer. How are you?
Good. Are we arguing like French doors, drapes? Are we arguing home furnishing for Aaron Rodgers today? I got some takes on that.
That's next week.
I think it'll look better than the door in the behind you at your home, Joe. That's all I know. Then again,
that's a nice door.
I don't know what your budget and Aaron's budget. Maybe they're one and the same.
You are no interior decorator.
Well, I let other people do that for me.
I think it is a lovely door, Joe.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I should probably get that wrapping paper out of there at some point, but yeah, we'll work on that.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Time now for Jared versus Joe, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment.
Jared Stillman versus Joe Rexroad. Now on Stillman and Company.
On ESPN
1025 The Game.
Jared versus Joe is brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment.
This is our gossip session. We'll start off with some gossip. Joe, you go first. If Aaron Rodgers is open to the Titans, should John Robinson be open too?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a no-brainer that you should look at it. I mean, the bottom line is, I guess what I'd like to hear is open to is fine, but I'd like to hear wants to, or, like you'd be on the short list because of course he can have a list. He will have a list. So open to, I want to hear something a little stronger than that. But if there's a chance that Aaron Rodgers would want to play for you, then absolutely you should look into that. I mean, I think it would be malpractice otherwise.
So here's what I think. You know that the Titans have already heard what I've said today, right?
I would think so,
okay.
Yes.
So you know that
Green Bay's heard you.
You know that's gotten back to them. He's got to take out the phone if he hasn't already done this, and I got to believe that if I'm hearing this, he's already heard it too, that he's got to take out the phone and call David Dunn and say, hey, is this legit? Would Aaron want to come here? Because that's where you got to start. You don't start calling Green Bay. You got to start with David Dunn, Aaron's agent. And you got to talk to Aaron's people and see. But I definitely think that he should do it. I think he should be on the phone with David Dunn today at the Senior Bowl and should be saying, hey, is this real? What hurdle? Like, how does Aaron feel? Because if Aaron would say, hey, yeah, Aaron would think, you're top 3 for Aaron, then maybe that changes your opinion on it. If it's, well, Aaron would consider everybody, so he's going to consider you just as much as he would consider the Detroit Lions, then that's, where do you go from there? You just came out yesterday and you supported your quarterback, so it would be kind of bad to do that and then go ahead and try to dial up Aaron. But at the same time, Fitz said that he doesn't think anybody will care if Robinson does a 180 on those comments yesterday. So Fitz is probably right about that. Yes, he should investigate this Aaron Rodgers rumor. He, to Joe's point, should figure out what open really means. And if there's a possibility, he needs to think about it and go forward with it.
Okay, on to the next one. Jared, you go first.
Okay.
If the Titans run it back with the same quarterback, same personnel, essentially the same team next year, and it's the same results, if not worse results, will someone lose their job? And if so, who will be the first one?
So it will be Tannehill. So there is a cycle of how this works where it's blame the quarterback, then it's blame the coach, then it's blame the GM, then it's blame the quarterback again. Sometimes you can blame the coach before you blame the quarterback, but nobody here is going to blame the coach. So it is the quarterback who is going to be in the crosshairs first. I think that Tannehill enters this year kind of similarly to the position that Mariota entered 2019, which is, all right, this is your prove-it year right here. Let's see what you can do. I mean, I would not give him the prove-it year. I think the prove-it year happened. I think it was the prove-it game. I think he blew it. I think you should be in the Super Bowl. I think it's his fault that you're not in the Super Bowl, and I think he should be held accountable for that, and you should try to make your team better for next year to actually try to win a Super Bowl. But I do think Robinson and Vrabel feel a certain level of insulation from all this, which is that if they go out there next year and Tannehill plays like crap, everybody will blame Tannehill. When in reality, they should blame them just as much as they blame Tannehill because now we know what Tannehill is.
Well, I mean, I'd agree that it's him as long as it's the same right? I mean, you know, if you're saying Caroline, they have the same result and it's for the same reason, like Tannehill basically is underwhelming or gives the ball away to the other team in the playoff game. I mean, are you saying same conditions here?
I'm saying same coaches, Tannehill, same players on the field, and you get to, let's say first round of the playoffs, get bounced, or, maybe make it to the divisional round, get bounced, and it ultimately is because of Tannehill's mistakes.
Well, yeah.
Basically a 2021 2.0.
Right. Yeah. Then sure. I mean, I don't have it right in front of me right now, but it's a lot. I mean, it's still going to hurt some if you just cut him after next year, but you can do it. It's not like this year. So yeah, you could look at Downing too, I guess. But ultimately, I agree. I was actually going to make the point that I think next year does feel to me a lot like the Mariota 2019. The difference being that, we don't know if it's Tannehill, we don't know who will be the number 2. They should do everything they can to make it a number 2 who could potentially push or replace him if he really falters. But that's the big difference, obviously, is that there was someone there that, even in camp, even though there was actually never any question about Mariota being the starter, there was question about the quality of the two guys compared to each other. And then eventually, the Titans made the switch and they took off. But Tannehill is the clear scapegoat if it all goes the same way.
I mean, the thing that I have with this, more so than anything else, is, I don't want to say it's lying, but the Titans just basically saying, oh, yeah, the coaching was good because everybody's coming back. And Tannehill was good because he's coming back. And it's like, somebody has to take the fall for this, right? Like the fall for what we saw offensively, the horrendousness of the Bengals game. I mean, the people that carry the water for the team are blaming the coach. So, Downing. So, I guess I'm kind of stunned that the Titans have no reaction to their horrific season offensively.
Well, I don't expect a Vrabel I mean, maybe something like it's just not good enough. And Robinson sort of threw in there, one game doesn't define you, which at least is an admission that it was a bad game. But the person who needed to take the fall and take accountability and speak up on this is Ryan Tannehill. After the game, he needed to say, I screwed that up. It's on me. He didn't do it. He got offered multiple chances to do it. He didn't do it. And then he didn't show up the next day to talk. So that's the person who has to take the fall and take the accountability. And frankly, that's a lot more meaningful to me to hear from him about it and for him to stand up and take responsibility than it is for anybody else. No one else is going to throw someone under the bus. I mean, last year, the Titans defense was dog water, and every week the offensive players talked around it because, that's what they should do. It's got to be the people making the mistakes, taking the accountability. And that's why I'm very disappointed in Tannehill. And I think you talk about toughness with a quarterback. I do think he's a tough player, and I think he has a lot of good intangibles in the locker room. He's a good leader, but he did not show toughness at the end there after he faltered in that game.
No, he not only did he not show toughness, he fell apart. Like, you could see it. Like, you could see it in the first throw of the game. That was, oh, God. Like with Tannehill. I mean, the tightness, the tenseness, the staring down the receivers, the afraid to make a mistake. Everything that he was.
Afraid to get hit.
In 2019 was not on display against the Bengals. I mean, that was soft. And to Joe's point, not talking after the game. Or I shouldn't say after the game. He did talk after the game. Not talking Monday after the season. Soft. And the whole, everybody coming into he cares so much. Okay. And if you paid me $29.5 million, I would care too. But, I mean, just so soft. Just so soft. And it got me all worked up yesterday because Garoppolo met with the media on the 49ers locker cleanout day. So Jimmy G can throw away their season and get sent somewhere else, and he'll face the music, but not Tannehill, not the toughest guy in the history of the football, who nobody throws it better when staring down the barrel of the blitz than Ryan Tannehill does.
Elite toughness.
Oh, God. It gets me so much. These non-tangible, they're like these NFTs, right?
A non-fungible token?
Like
that's what toughness is?
Well, I mean, all the things that the Titan players tell us about are like, there's nothing. Oh, okay, great, yeah.
But I mean, I don't disagree with the fact that Ryan Tannehill is a tough quarterback. Don't disagree with the fact that he probably is a good leader in the locker room. But okay.
Well, then take the blame if you're such a good leader.
Yeah, it's fair.
There you go.
I mean, on the field, the only guy who got hit more than Joe Burrow was Tannehill this year. But yes, toughness is also after games.
I think Tannehill invites those hits sometimes.
Think he likes it?
No, I just think that he thinks I gotta take these hits. Whereas a Manning is I'm gonna throw this ball the second that I smell somebody around me, Peyton Manning, that ball's gone. He is not. Peyton is not getting hit. Peyton does not like to get hit.
Peyton slides.
Tannehill, meanwhile, is I'm going to take on two guys. Oh!
Tanneill's I'm going to target this guy coming forward.
Oh! More Jared versus Joe next. 615-737-1025. Stillman & Company's delivered by TriStar Moving. Jared versus Joe is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Every Thursday at 1 on Darren, Donick, and Chase, we're joined by Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman for the best inside knowledge on the NHL. It's all brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage on ESPN 1025 The Game.
If you're on the job day in and day out, you know living with pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders is miserable. The good news, QC Kinetics gets it. They understand guys like you.
They don't have the luxury of taking time off. They want to keep working. We are built for those guys that want to keep working and want to stay active. So the vast majority of who we see are the blue-collar guys like me and you.
QC Kinetics uses biologic therapies, just like pro athletes have used for years, to get you lasting pain relief with no surgery.
I want you to continue working. I want you to continue exercising. The joints are made to be moved.
The treatments at QC Kinetics are fast and non-invasive.
It's not a lot of time commitment on your part. There is no downtime or recovery time. You don't need short-term disability with what we do. We want to keep you active.
Call QC Kinetics now to set up your free no-obligation consultation. Learn how you can get real pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024.
Hey, what's going on? It's Chase McCabe, and I have been talking about BetMGM for over a year now, because it is my favorite sports book. It's my official sports book. You can bet on more than the final score with One Game Parlay at BetMGM, which is one of my favorite features. One Game Parlay is an exciting feature designed to help you make selections within a single game from over 400 bet types, including, my favorite, team and player props. Log into your BetMGM account and create your best parlay before the game starts. New to BetMGM? Sign up today and make your first bet risk-free up to $1,000 by using the bonus code 1025GAME. Try One Game Parlay today. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Jared Stillman versus Joe Rexrode, now on Stillman and Company
on ESPN
1025 The Game.
By the way, it should be noted, Jared versus Joe is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment. It should be noted, I'm getting inundated with tweets from people that are quote tweeting my tweet, and they're like, if anybody retweets Jared Stillman on my timeline, I'm gonna or they want me to work out the cap situation with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. That's not what I do. I don't know. Just telling you the news.
You can't spill the tea and then support it.
Look, I'm just saying what it is. That's all I'm doing is reporting, right, Joe?
Yeah. I quote tweeted you.
There you go. Joe Rexrode, expert veteran reporter, saying that I did a great job reporting.
Did he say that?
That's what I took it as.
I don't think he said that.
That's what I take it as. What's next, Caroline?
While we're on the topic of quarterbacks, Joe, you go first. Put yourself in the Titans' players' shoes. Are they still ride or die for Tannehill, or are they frustrated that there haven't been any changes either at the quarterback position or with offensive personnel?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I think it's different for different people. But I would say that
if you're a player.
Yeah, if I'm a player, it's still hard for me because, look, there's still a whole bunch of information that they have that we don't have, okay? And I do think that the relationships and the day-to-day with someone, that stuff is really important. But I will compare it to Marcus Mariota because I think Marcus Mariota was beloved in that building. Now, you did hear sometimes from people who would leave, like an Eric Decker, or DeMarco Murray. Yeah, he needs to speak up more. You heard that. But those guys, I mean, the day that Mariota basically lost his job, I watched A.J. Brown bawling in that locker room in Denver, go up to him and hug him and tell him he's sorry. He didn't even know him that long. Those guys love that guy. So that brings me to, they don't look at it like we do. You know what I mean? Now, I'm sure there are people in that locker room who are more skeptical, who are more dubious of him, who are questioning, man, can he get it done? Because we all saw what happened out there. I mean, if you want to spin this and look at it and try to find other reasons and blame other people, you can. But everybody saw what happened, and he did not handle the pressure. He gave the ball to the other team. He lost the game. So I have to think that there are more guys or maybe some guys, and there weren't any before this season, who are questioning whether they can get it done with him. I will say, though, again, I think the relationship, the intangibles, the leadership, all that stuff with him, I think it's A+. If you look at Tom Brady just retiring, okay, and we're talking about Aaron Rodgers today, I think the biggest difference, I think Aaron Rodgers is infinitely more talented than Tom Brady physically. But I think a big difference between those two guys is stuff like that. That's where Tom Brady is off the just being great on the field. But that's where, to me, that's where he has these rings that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have. I do think that Tannehill checks the boxes in the building. So I think that there's probably still a lot of guys who would support him. But yes, again, I think there has to be some guys who are out on him or more out on him, or at least wondering, man, is this ever going to work out with him?
So I agree with what Joe said, and I do think it's an interesting point he brought about Brady and Rodgers. Have you seen Brady's Instagram story? Every single one of like his former teammates that posted, because every single player that played with Brady posted a picture of them and Brady. And it's like going all the way back to like Deron Harmon and like guys from those first era Patriot teams. And he literally posted them in his own story and with like a message like, love you so much. Thanks, Blaine Gabbert. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's like Deron Harmon and Kyle Arrington and just random run-of-the-mill Patriots. Like, and he's doing it. Random run-of-the-mill Buccaneers, and he's doing it. Like that, like he is like showing, hey, that's how much you meant to me. That kind of stuff. And Rodgers, I don't think, has that. And I do think Tannehill has a little bit of that inside of him. I want to know what Julio Jones thinks. Because all the guys that are here, I think they have Tannehill Stockholm Syndrome. Like the same thing Mike Tannenbaum had on the show the other day, where it's like, oh, yeah, no, there's no way we're going to say that about Tannehill bad. Hey, look at what Tannehill did to us. Look at where Tannehill took us. Julio Jones has played with a league MVP before. And so, even though I'm not the biggest Julio fan, and I think Julio's done, Tannehill almost got him killed in that playoff game like 2 or 3 times. Where like the ball was behind him and the defender's right on the other side and just wham. And I wonder if Julio, who's been through this enough, is looking like, man, this guy sucks. Whereas A.J. Brown doesn't know any better because he's only played with him and Mariota. And Westbrook-Akina doesn't know better. And Ferguson doesn't know better. And Derrick Henry doesn't know better. And none of these guys on the offense, none of them know better except for him. So I wonder what Julio thinks. Julio will never tell you, but I wonder what he thinks about Tannehill. If he thinks like, yo, if y'all think this guy is good, wait until you play with somebody who's actually good. And I do wonder that. And I don't know the answer to that because all these other guys are essentially homegrown.
Joe, do you have a rebuttal?
No, not really. I mean, we're agreeing a lot today. There's got to be something that we can scream about.
Well, perfect. I think I have just the thing. Joe, you go first. Philip Forsberg, switching to the Predators side of things. Philip Forsberg scores 2 goals last night. Is this the new Philip Forsberg that the Predators can invest in for the future, or is this just Forsberg playing for a contract?
Well, I think it's a more consistent Forsberg. I don't think this is some massive transformation. He's on a pace to have his best year.
You don't think 40 goals from a guy who's never had 40 goals is not a massive transformation?
I mean, how many times has he had 30 plus?
Once,
multiple
twice, maybe?
times. You sure?
I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I mean, I don't think
he's a 30 goal scorer, and he has been. And in some of those years, had he stayed healthy, which is the biggest concern still for me with Forsberg, he would have approached 40. Yeah, is it better? Yeah, it is because he's playing physically. But again, we talked about this on the show today on Robbie and Rexroad, and reference you, Jared, because your tweet last night apparently is saying like if they don't play hard in the future, then he's the guy because he's playing well in the contract year. I just want to make sure it was kind of hard to totally understand what you were saying. If that's what you're saying, I don't think that this is like, it's a contract year, I'm finally going to play hard. I think he has embraced the physicality of what John Hines wants him to do. I think that is helping him. Again, Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson are not in contract years. They are also having, Duchene is having potentially his career year. He's certainly having one of his best years, and Johansson is having his best year in several years. So how do you explain that? It's not those guys, we all know. I mean, left unprotected, left for whatever. They got overpaid, and they've responded. I think that I look at the team. I look at Hines. I look at his ability to get the most of these guys and put them in position to be successful. I think the story here is a lot more about John Hines than Jared would want to admit. And I don't think this is some all totally off the charts brand new Philip Forsberg. I'm sure he's going to have a cold streak too, by the way, on the way to breaking the team record for goals. I just think he has figured out, and Peter Laviolette talked about this all the time with him. When he wants to be a power forward, he is more effective. And he kept trying to get that out of him. John Hines has figured a way to get that out of him.
Philip Forsberg played 39 games last year, and he had 12 goals. He's played 33 games this year, and he has 24. I mean, like, if this were baseball and these were home runs he was hitting, I'd wonder if he was on steroids. Like, in all seriousness. He's had 30
so you're going to go
goals.
Back. You're going to go to 1 year. You're going to go to 1 year.
He's had 30 goals twice. And one of those seasons, Joe, was before you were covering the team. Like, my goodness gracious, Joe. Like,
so he had
33 goals in
64.
15-16.
So he
had 31.
26 and 67. Right. So in the last 2 full seasons he played, he had 30 goals. And again, the health is the thing. The health is the thing. That's my concern. But I
just want to ask you all. I just want to ask you this question. What happened when you paid Ryan Tannehill after he had a great contract year? What happened when Jonnu Smith got paid after his good contract year? What happened to Corey Davis when he got paid after his contract year? What happened to James Neal after he got paid in his contract year? I mean, there are some dudes that when they're in a contract year, and Forsberg was totally prepared from the jump to bet on himself this year, it tells me that he spent all offseason thinking about the last big payday of his life, because that's what this is, and he was determined that he was going to go out and earn himself a bunch of money. And I got to give him credit, because he has. But if I'm going to sit here and pay him this money and then expect him to keep playing like this because John Hines got it out of him, well, I think that that's a little foolhardy.
So you're suggesting what then? What are you going to do? What are you doing? You're David Poyle. What are you doing?
Well, first of all, I would have already made my decision ahead of time. But this is what you do if you're Poyle. And it's going to be painful, and he ain't going to do it. But this is what you should do. You got to have a hard number right now before the deadline. You call the agent, and you say, this is our deal. And whatever it is, 8.5, whatever, I would only want to go 4 years with Forsberg. I wouldn't do 5 to 7. But I would do 4, and I really don't want to do 4, but I would. And I'd say, here's the final number. And they're going to say, that's not good enough. We're going to market. And then I'm trading them. And everybody's going to freak out like, wait a minute, Jared, we're contenders in the Western Conference. And we just traded Philip Forsberg. And the answer is yes. Because you can't do.
And they'd be right. And they'd be right, Jared.
But they're not going to do it.
Well, they'd be right to yell at you. This team is number 2.
So you're going to lose. Right, you're going to lose this guy for nothing.
I don't think they're going to lose him.
So then you're going to overpay him.
Well, you're going to overturn him because what you have is an advantage of you're the only team that can go to 8. That's what it's going to be. But if you go to 8 over 8, which is $64 million, then for someone who wants to give him 9 a year over 7 years, they can't even get to $64 million with that. They're not. I don't think they're going to lose him. We'll see. But this team, Jared, I mean, this team right now is number 2 in the West. And the number 1 team, which is clearly the best team, has goaltending issues that worry me about them again in the postseason. I mean, the difference with Forsberg here, and I've absolutely changed my mind on this over the last few months, is that this team has changed my mind. It's a better team than I thought it could be. I thought it would be a playoff team, but it's more than that. It's a team that can do damage in the playoffs, and you don't throw that away right now. You look at him in worst case scenario as a trading deadline acquisition, and you have a chance to do something this postseason.
If you had offered 8 years anything going into the season, he probably would have taken it.
Probably so.
So now you're going to give him a contract because you let him bet on himself, and you didn't hold him to a deadline, and you didn't. So you're letting him play you.
Well, and listen, I don't. Well,
and I got to tell you, I'm sick and tired of the Predators signing guys to contracts and then them not being good after they sign them to those contracts.
Well, yeah, like Roman Josi?
No, like Ryan Ellis.
Has Ryan Johansson?
Which I begged.
Has he been okay overall?
I begged, do not sign Ryan Ellis. I begged it. They did it.
Okay,
and they
what
got
about
nothing
Matt
in
Duchene?
return for him.
What about Matt Duchene? Has his season changed your mind? It was terrible last year. It's awfully good this year.
No, I don't.
Okay.
The
This year
Duchene
doesn't count?
contract is still a bad contract. The Johansson contract is still a bad contract. Those are still bad contracts, Joe. Like they haven't even won a playoff round, and you're telling me they haven't won a playoff round, and you're telling me that bad contracts are now not bad contracts?
They're changing the narrative on that, Jared. We'll see. They and
Tannehill,
have playoffs this
Nashville, Tennessee, the home of the regular season.
Hey, go get
the home of the
picks
regular season, where the regular season matters.
Oh, yeah, you'll find other Forsberg.
Hey, we won a lot of games with Tannehill. I'll tell you what.
Get another Forsberg.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
all right.
Easy.
Yeah. How'd they get Forsberg?
By trading Martin Erat.
There you go.
Okay.
Caroline, who wins?
So trade away now. He's 27 in his prime.
You both agreed a lot more than I thought you would. But on the Philip Forsberg front, I'm not totally on the side of the Predators have no option. They absolutely have to sign Philip Forsberg. But I'm not totally out on the idea of signing him to a long-term deal. It may get expired and it may be too much money.
8 years at 27 for a guy who's never played this well ever in his life.
But also, they're going to get picks in return if they trade him.
No, they're going to get probably two prospects. Yeah, probably about that.
And you just hope that they turn into a Philip Forsberg?
Well, that's how hockey works. You try to trade your pony, who you try to get people to think is a horse,
but you're stuck
for their horses.
You're stuck with Ryan Johansson and Matt Duchene, correct?
And not when you're a good team, Jared. That's not how.
So you're going to surround them with just young prospects?
You got to hope. You got to hope that you can go out and do what Boston did when they made the trade, and I forget who it was they traded, but they ended up when they traded Phil Kessel and they got Tyler Seguin and Dougie Hamilton in return.
You also got to hope that Ryan Tannehill doesn't turn the ball over.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that one anymore. But you got to be able to trust yourself that you can draft and scout, right?
Yes.
That's like every texter who texts in and says, well, we don't need first-round picks anyway because Robinson can't draft them.
Yeah, I don't really subscribe.
Okay, well,
so if you get a haul,
just not smart.
If you get a haul in exchange for Philip Forsberg, right? Like, I don't know, when you gave up Sam Girard and a second-round pick, if you can get a haul in exchange for Forsberg, then you can set yourself up for success for the next decade. Just like when you got Forsberg.
Can you?
Because you got a great player, which you
can.
have now in him.
Trades work in the NHL.
Philip Forsberg right now is not Martin Erat then. Martin Erat has never been what Philip Forsberg is now. He's 27. He's in his prime.
That's the point. Ponies for horses.
But is 27 prime?
Hockey's weird.
The unknown is undefeated. Well, yeah. I mean, it's athletic prime is 28 to 32. The unknown is undefeated with Jared. The unknown is undefeated. It's got to be better. The prospects got to be better. The picks got to be better. Look at what you have right in front of you.
No, I just don't like committing over. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again and then letting a half of regular season hockey convince me that it's not. That's what you all are doing. The regular season. The Ryan Tannehill season. Oh, Tannehill.
Don't compare Philip Forsberg to Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill had Joe Montana level numbers for a year, and the people around here, including me, said pick him over Brady. And then he got to the playoffs, and he didn't throw for 100 yards.
I'm saying this season, you cannot compare Ryan Tannehill's production to Philip Forsberg.
No, but what I'm telling you is you bought in, like you, I'm talking about the Titans, us. We bought in off that 1 year of beating teams where he was Joe Montana, and we bought in. And then all of a sudden, what is he now? Ryan Tannehill.
I think you're just scarred from Ryan Tannehill.
No, I just told you. Corey Davis, career year last year. Played like 9 games this year. Jonnu Smith, who I heard a caller to Boston radio, again, not the greatest source in the world, but I heard a caller to Boston radio say that he is the worst player in the NFL. Jonnu Smith, $50 million.
You know that's not true.
Ryan Johansson, great 2017 playoffs. Nothing for 4 years. Everybody in town wants to run him out. Starts playing hard. Half a hockey. Woo! This team has not even won a playoff round yet. And everybody wants me to get on my knees and suck up to the players that have been here for forever, that were 0-15 against Dallas on the power play in 2019, or to this coach who, again, hasn't won a playoff round here. And I'm like, no, this is not regular season city. We care about the playoffs around here. At least I do. You all can go back to your, what did he say? It's Happy Gilmore? Your shanties and worry about the regular season. I do not care about the regular season. No regular seasons around here.
Yeah, no one wants you to get on your knees and suck up to anything. Calm down there, buddy. And
That's what you go.
They
give John Hines credit.
Do you
Joe
give him any
wins.
credit? Thank you.
For
Do
a
you give John
regular
Hines any credit,
season,
Jared?
They're in fourth place, Joe. Like, come on.
They're second in the West. They're second in the West.
They're
Well,
in
look at the
fourth
standings.
place.
It's easily
And
looked up
honestly,
on the internet.
I'm gonna tell you
It's
this.
easily looked up on the internet, Jared.
I want them to be in fourth place. Like with all these games in hand and everything that all the other teams have. Because if you're in fourth place, you get to go out to the Pacific Division, and those teams stink. Whereas if you finish it in the top three, you're like the NHL playoff system is
That's a great plan. You should trade Forsberg, and then you can get dropped to fourth, Jared. I think you're onto something,
If
buddy.
Forsberg's not going to take my deal, he's gone. But nobody here has a backbone, so I understand how it is. Joe, appreciate
You're the only
you
show with a backbone.
as always.
All right.
Appreciate
thanks,
you,
guys.
Joe.
And thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe Rexrode. All right, we're way over the break. We'll react to all this next. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Mr. Kraft, I'm Tom Brady, and I'm the best decision this organization has ever made.
And when the Super Bowl ended, the ball would be in the hands of Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
After 7 Super Bowl wins, 15 Pro Bowls, and 22 seasons, Tom Brady will retire from football.
I never imagined it could be like this.
What's next for the future Hall of Famer?
I'm 44 and my family is priority for me.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Bob's Steak and Chop House is a renowned award-winning steakhouse in major cities across the U.S. Nashville is lucky to have a location here in downtown at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Fine dining is brought to a new level at Bob's with awards like the Wine Spectator Award 4 years in a row, TripAdvisor Certificate of Excellence 5 years in a row, and Open Tables Diner's Choice Award 6 years in a row. Fine dining at its best. Bob's Steak and Chop House, open Wednesday through Saturday, 5 to 10 p.m. in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Complimentary valet parking is always available.
If you snore, it may be a sign of a more serious, possibly life-threatening condition. Most people think of snoring as a nuisance, but it's a much more serious medical condition than you think. Snoring has been associated with chest pain, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic pain, obesity, headaches, and sore throat. Take a listen to what some of our patients are saying about the revolutionary Vivo system.
Right after I started using it, I noticed the results really, especially with the snoring. My sleep apnea episodes are a fraction of what they were before. This product's phenomenal. It changed my life.
I am 100% happy that I did this, and I'm thankful every day that I have it.
If you're curious about our sleep devices, call now for a sleep consultation. Don't let your spouse have to sleep in the guest room, and don't risk the severe health complications of snoring and sleep apnea.
Dr. Kelly Rice is certified to provide the Vivo system to open the airway for a better night's sleep. Call 615-373-4488 or go to BrentwoodSleepApnea.com to see which therapy can work best for you.
Individual results may vary. Always seek the advice of your health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
Mark Howard here to tell you about my friends at Apple Collision Centers. We all know being in a collision is not fun. Neither is all the stress that comes with it, and that's where Apple Collision comes in. Let them take care of everything for you. That's insurance, repair, and your rental details. They've got 3 convenient locations in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Their managers, Tommy Rippey, Daniel Neville, and Chris Brooks and Marty Denson, combined for over 75 years experience. So stop in today and tell them Mark sent you. Online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Attention veterans of Middle Tennessee. Little Guys Movers wants to put your hard-earned skills and leadership talent to work with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. Be your own boss and build a team with standards as high as your own, and all while serving your community with the same hustle that you served your country. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Start a fulfilling, profitable new chapter of your life as a member of a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
All right, went way over with Joe there on Jared versus Joe. So unless you have a thought.
To the phones.
Okay, first, though, the Aaron Rodgers news today. Aaron Rodgers buying a home in Williamson County. He's already purchased it. He's building a home in Williamson County, and he, according to a source, is, quote, open to the Titans. And another source says that some of his Packer teammates do not expect under any circumstances him going back to Green Bay. And by the way, I'm getting a lot of people like, are these like the same rumors that Brady was touring NBA a couple years ago? No. You know what the difference between these rumors and those rumors are?
What?
This one's true.
Oh, so the Brady rumors were not true.
No. In fact, it took one call. I called Chris Sanders, and he just said, no, it's not true. All right. There you go.
I feel like he would know.
I've talked to enough people. You know who I've talked to? It's true. Let's go to your phones. Brandon is up next. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, I just want to say that, you said that the Preds are kind of like the Titans. You know, they like to play below all this stuff. But, Forsberg, Johansson, Duchesne, they've been playing to the point of where they deserve what they've kind of been paid. You know,
right.
Duchesne and Johansson have insane contracts that are, we used to think were ridiculous. This year they've proven that, they're scoring, they're shooting the puck, it's going in. Forsberg, he's about to beat, a point thing for, oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
So I hear you. I hear you. No, Brandon, I hear you, and I appreciate your call. And the Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC this year, and everybody's telling me I should be happy with that. This is one half of a season. If the Predators make the playoffs and get knocked out in the first round, and again, this is why you want the Predators to finish fourth. You want them to be fourth in the division so they go to the Pacific, and then when they go to the Pacific, they rack up wins and they beat those teams, and then they play Colorado or whomever in the Western Conference Finals. I hate the hockey playoff system, and it's exactly for this reason. But, I'm sorry. Like right now, if the expansion draft were again and you exposed Johansson or Duchesne, do you still think that Seattle wouldn't take on those big contracts? I don't think they would. It's like, oh, so you gave me 2 good months. I didn't want to take on this astronomical contract before, but 2 good months. All right, give them to me.
Well, I don't think anyone said that they necessarily earned their paychecks.
He just said that.
Did he?
Yeah. Literally said it in the call. Joe just offered 8 years to Philip Forsberg when he's never played this well ever. And Joe's like, yeah, you got to go 8 years now.
Okay, you're calling it a contract year. Is Matt Duchesne in a contract year?
No, but when Matt Duchesne was in a contract year,
significantly better than he has.
When he was in a contract year, he played better than he's ever played.
Better than this year.
Better than he's ever played. And Adam Vingan literally wrote, he's never played this well before.
He's not in a contract year this year. He's playing pretty well.
And he's playing fine. He's playing well.
Better than he did last year.
Yay! Again,
I'm not saying he earned his paycheck. The caller can say what they want.
Would Seattle take his contract right now?
No.
Okay. So then you're like, that's my point.
Because it's a bad contract. I'm not denying that.
And if he plays like this for the rest of his contract, then it's not a bad contract. But the problem is what we do around here is that we want to be optimistic, and the local media that covers the teams feel this way. And it is just a consistent barrage of, well, I've seen the guy play for 6 years. He's never been this good before. But then he gave me a couple of months, and now I got to go 8 years on him. What? Like, that's how you get worked. That's how you get work.
The contract that Philip Forsberg probably wants, which I'm guessing is an 8 million a year contract.
It's probably more than that, but yes.
Probably more than that. I mean, I don't feel comfortable giving him that, but also you have to consider the fact that they're probably not getting out of Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson's contracts. So you're going to trade Philip Forsberg, and then you're going to surround these two guys who have massive contracts with just a bunch of young guys.
Not a bunch of young guys. You're taking one guy out.
Uh-huh. And you're getting prospects and maybe draft picks in return.
Right. And so
then the rest of this team
people
is
move up.
Young guys.
People move up.
And they'll get older.
Granlund's not a young guy.
No, and Yossi's not a young guy either. Cunnin is a young guy.
Not really. He's like 24, and that's not really young. Like the hockey, like young is like 19, and old is like 40.
But he's
and then everything else
new
just
to the
floats in there.
NHL.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's like his second year in the NHL.
Cunnin played in Minnesota. He plays here. Like he's not a like Tolvanen is a young guy. Tomasino is a young guy. Like yes, that you bump people up, and you have to be willing to be able to draft. That's what good teams do. That's what good teams do. Good teams either get great players that are just great and you pay them. AJ's going to be good. Now, is AJ Brown going to be healthy where he goes? I don't know.
That's another thing is the Philip Forsberg health issue.
But Philip, like if AJ goes out there and balls out next year, it's not an aberration. He balled out as a rookie. Mm-hmm. He balled out as a second-year guy. When he was healthy, he balled out in his third year. He balls out. Forsberg was a decent player. Forsberg's incredible. Got to keep him now, but he's not going to be incredible. And that's my point, is people are getting sucked into the small sample size, which he's probably spent. He knows this is his big payday. And you got to take that into account. And you got to have a backbone. And you got to stand up for yourself and say, no, I'm not getting suckered in to a long-term contract for this immediate gain. It's like eating sugar, right? Your brain sends immediate responses when you eat sugar that's like, yes, good. But ultimately, it's not a good idea. Getting sucked in on a guy getting bent over a barrel and putting yourself in position where you have to extend guys more than you want to, like you did with Johansson, is not how you build a sustainable franchise. And this time, exactly a year ago, you all wanted to run the general manager out of town because of it. And I'm not convinced that they have figured this out, because I think they're going to screw this one up too. Back to your phone next. 615-737-1025. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
On Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus, isolated flooding possible tonight into tomorrow as rain showers continue in our forecast. After sunset tomorrow, that rain has the potential to change itself over into freezing rain, leading to slick roads on Friday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Credibility.
Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Relatability.
False start. 5-yard penalty.
And very little athletic ability.
You got to open up the playbook.
Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe are Darren, Donick, and Chase. Weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Boy, what a fun day today on the radio show. We started it off with news that Aaron Rodgers has purchased a home in Williamson County.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe it's his forever home. I don't know. Rich people can buy a lot of homes.
But nice.
He bought a home in Williamson County. So there is that. And that he would be open to coming to the Titans. We got a bunch of phones to get to, unless you have a thought on all of this. What has been a very emotional show today.
It really has. We've had a roller coaster of a day.
It has been kind of wild. Kevin is up next here on Stillman and Company. Thank you for calling the show. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, no, man. You know what? Like when people get bad pizzas, they always want to call in and talk about how bad they are. They never call in when they're great. So, Jared, I wanted to give you some love, man. You were the fire there. Loved it. And I'm not a big hockey fan. It's fine. I love football, and I know a lot more about the Titans than I do hockey. But you never buy a stock price at its penultimate height, right?
Bingo.
You want to buy it. You never want to. So Philip Forsberg, you just qualified it with he's playing his best he's ever played in 6 years, and you give a person like that an eight-year contract? No, bad move. But then also the other flip side is just a little bit of advice. A true OG never gives up their sources. Don't be giving up them sources. The Chris Sanders thing, you got to keep them on the down low.
What sources did I give up on Chris Sanders?
No, whenever you were talking about Brady rumors and you heard from Chris Sanders that it was a no-go, you got to keep them sources on the DL. You got to keep people wondering, how does Jared know all this stuff? So,
well, again, you don't need to I appreciate your call, Kevin. When it's not true, you don't need to sit there and say, I didn't need to hide Chris Sanders. He works at NBA. So when everybody around town was trying to figure out whether or not it was Brady who was visiting NBA with their son, which, by the way, at the time, and this is what's wild, is at the time it made no sense. The rumor that Brady was going to be visiting NBA, that Brady and Giselle were visiting NBA to see if they're and it just took off like wildfire. It made no sense at the time because Brady's kid was 7. You have to be 13 to go to NBA. So it didn't make any sense. I'm Bridget Moynihan is not moving to Nashville.
No.
So the oldest, he lives in New York or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the other son was 7 at the time or 9 or something like that. You have to be 13 to go to NBA.
But it sounds nice.
Right. But
Tom Brady and Giselle are looking at NBA.
It made no sense. So there's this wild rumor, and I was off for a couple of days unexpectedly, and I was off, and I remember calling Chris that day, and he just goes, no, just when he picked up the phone, because he knew. That's not burning a source. Now, if I told you all my sources on this Rodgers thing, then that would be burning a source, and another source, and another source, and one other source. So I just told you there's 4 people that are involved in this.
Yes, you did.
But that's enough to, look, my buddies in Boston say they're a one-source show. At least here we got more and more and more and more.
Which is so funny because that just feels so Boston.
Oh, yeah, they don't care. They've read.
So irresponsible.
They've read. I kid you not. I emulate a lot of what I do off of what they do. Like, I was very impressionable. I was 23 when I lived up there, and I listened to that show. I still listen to that show. I was listening to that show today. They will read, like, the supermarket tabloids about Brady and Giselle when Brady was the quarterback there. They would read those on the air and discuss them. Like, Giselle wants Tom to quit, and is it going to be about that, and is it this? And they would read it on the air. So then one time...
As if there isn't enough sports news going on in Boston on a daily basis.
Well, do you believe anything? Like, when you see those, like, supermarket tabloids, like, do you believe any of that stuff?
Only People magazine, because that's a credible one.
But that's not really a supermarket tabloid. Like, I'm talking about, like, the National Enquirer.
No, I mean, those are all made up.
So one time I was, like, in the aisle at, like, Publix or wherever. And I saw, like, there was a story about Mike Fisher and Carrie Underwood. And I'm going to assume that it wasn't true since they're still married, and this was, like, 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
And other stories in the National Enquirer say, like, Miley Cyrus has a lizard tail.
There you go. And so I asked one of the bosses, I was like, can I talk about this? And they were like, no. I was like, okay, supermarket tabloids, I get it, I understand, makes sense.
Throw out the lowest point and the highest point and go off of the average unless the trend is a steady incline over a number of years.
Yeah, I mean, just there's a certain level of like...
But has Forsberg ever been bad?
I mean, he's had his disappearing moments. Has he ever been bad? Probably not. I mean, I think there's probably a little bit of truth to what Joe said about playing the way that the coach wants him to play. I mean, I was at the game yesterday. I had a great time at the game yesterday.
Yeah.
There's probably some truth about what Joe said about the coach finally getting these guys to play the way they want to play. But again, we're talking about what is happening in December, January, and the start of February. We don't care about that. We should not care about that stuff here in Nashville. I mean, who cares about the regular season? That's my whole point with the Titans when it's like, well, Tannehill's won them a lot of games. Well, he's played in 5 playoff games, and he's 2-3, and in the 2 wins, he hasn't thrown for 100 yards. But he did in 2019 look like Joe Montana as far as passer rating was concerned, so I guess all is forgiven.
But I'll take a 2021
Yeah,
sample
I mean,
size
I feel
over it.
you, but I mean, you have to have a good regular season to even make it to the postseason. So
Hey,
it's a catch-22 there, but I feel you.
I just know that a wise man once said when it came to the hockey regular season, just get me to the playoffs, baby.
And
with this team,
they'll need everybody they can get to make it. But I feel you.
Well, they'll make the playoffs this year. But the big issue is, can they get the wild card and go out to the Pacific Division? Because if they do that, they're probably in the Western Conference Finals. And I don't like that because there's a lot of travel, like when you're going like to Anaheim and back, or you're going to Vegas and back all the time, as opposed to going to Chicago or St. Louis. But I'd rather avoid Colorado until you have to play. Let Colorado choke somewhere along the way. Do we know who our special guests are, Ian, for Smashville Live today?
I believe it is Chase McCabe, Pete Weber, and Terry Crisp.
Oh,
that is what I have heard. My sources tell me.
There you go. That's it for us. Eventful show today. We are out of here. We are back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Smashville Live, Pete, Crispy, Chase. That's next. We'll see you all tomorrow